The truth of the matter, everything comes to light _6. Lu Qi followed the police officer's steps, looking back at Lu Ru. Let's go. Lu Ru looked at Lu Qi incredulously. Had Lu Qi gone mad? At this time, to approach the victim and their family was blatantly asking for trouble. They might even get physically attacked. Brother. Lu Ru tugged at Lu Qi's sleeve. I must go, Lu Qi stated firmly. You're coming with me. With no other choice, Lu Ru had to follow. Upon reaching the lobby, the police officer introduced them. This is the victim, and these are the victim's family members. After saying this, the police officer introduced Lu Qi to everyone. Lu Qi had never expected that Anai Yang was the daughter of the victim. He already felt guilty towards Anai Yang, and now he was even more overwhelmed with shame. Seeing Anai Yang among the victim's family, Lu Ru was also stunned. She used to look down on Anai Yang the most, and now, unexpectedly, she had to apologize and admit her wrongs. What a twist of fate. If it were all possible, she would spend her entire life peacefully on Taiwan Island, and never set foot in Beijing again. Unfortunately, the one thing the world lacks is a remedy for regret. Auntie and I'm sorry. If it weren't for my mother, you wouldn't have been separated from Grandpa Zheng and Grandma Zheng for so many years. After he spoke, Lu Qi and Lu Ru knelt down together. A man's knees are as precious as gold. But at this moment he could no longer care about that. He did not pray for Anai Quihua's forgiveness. He only hoped to satisfy his own conscience. Anai Tsuehua deeply resented Jiao Wentong. If not for her, she wouldn't have suffered for so many years, and she could have grown up with a silver spoon in her mouth. But Lu Qi was Lu Qi, and being a mother herself, she knew she should not take out her anger on the children. Children cannot choose their birth. It was evident that Lu Qi and Jiao Wentong were not the same kind of people. Please get up. Anai Tsuehua extended her hand to help Lu Qi and Lu Ru up. Good and evil will be repaid in the end. Your mother is already in prison. This matter has nothing to do with you too. Auntie. Lu Qi's eyes reddened. He hadn't expected Anai Tsuehua to be so calm. Jiao Wentong had caused Anai Tsuehua so much suffering, and Lu Qi had even prepared himself to be beaten. Yet Anai Tsuehua did not blame him at all. He was now starting to understand why Anai Yang was so outstanding, while his own sister Lu Ru was so inadequate. It was because of upbringing. Anai Yang had a mother who was both a role model and a teacher. Anai Tsuehua sighed and looked back at Elder Zheng, Grandma Zheng, Elder Shengguan, and Anai Yang. Let's go back. Lu Qi watched the family's departing figures, his heart unable to calm down for a long time. After a while Lu Qi turned to Lu Ru. Let's go back too. To celebrate finally finding the person who kidnapped Anai Tsuehua, Anai Yang had prepared a large table of food upon their return. Today happened to be Saturday, and in the evening, Shengguan Shi and Shengguan Su also came back. The next day was Sunday. Early in the morning, Anai Tsuehua and Shengguan Dehui went to the orphanage. Visiting the orphanage once a week had become a habit. Around 10 in the morning, Shengguan Furong arrived at Jinghua village with Zhao Ziqing. Coincidentally, just as they arrived, Zhao Shen also came with Zhao Zijuan. Brother. The siblings, who hadn't seen each other for a while, were extremely excited. Furong. Zhao Shen greeted. Shengguan Furong smiled and nodded. Zhao Shen felt a pang of disappointment, then said, Furong, how did you come back? Why didn't you call me to pick you up? Shengguan Furong replied, It's quite convenient for me to take a bus from there, no need for the hassle. It's no trouble at all, Zhao Shen said. Furong, just say the word, no matter the distance, I wouldn't find it bothersome. No need, Shengguan Furong smiled and walked into the house. Mom, Aunt Zheng. Furong is back, Grandma Zheng said cheerfully. Yes, Shengguan Furong nodded. Hey, where are my brother and sister-in-law? Elder Shengguan replied. Your brother and sister-in-law went to the orphanage. They probably won't be back until the afternoon. Oh, Shengguan Furong continued. What about Uncle Zheng? Is he not home either? He probably took Yunyan to clear some land again, Grandma Zheng explained, smiling. Clearing land. Shengguan Furong paused, not understanding what was meant by clearing land. Grandma Zheng continued. Did you see the roadside planted with lots of honeysuckle and peony flowers when you just came? Yes, Shangguan Furong nodded. That's what your Uncle Zhang and Yunyan cleared out, Grandma Zhang explained. Shangguan Furong smiled. I didn't realize Uncle Zhang had such a pastoral heart. He just loves to be busy. Doing it himself would be fine, but he always has to take Yunyan with him. In the afternoon, Shangguan Furong and Zhao Shen took the children back to the Zhao family to visit Grandma Zhao. After they left, Grandma Zhang and Elder Shangguan chatted. Elder sister, do you think there's still a chance for Furong and Zhao Shen to remarry? Elder Shangguan sighed. I would like them to remarry, otherwise the children will suffer by following them, but Furong has never loosened up. So does Zhao Shen want to remarry? Grandma Zhang asked. Elder Shangguan nodded. Grandma Zhang continued. As the saying goes, a prodigal son who returns is more precious than gold. As long as Zhao Shen truly repents, considering the children, remarriage is feasible. But we elders shouldn't interfere too much. Elder Shangguan, finding a confidant, quickly agreed. Exactly, I have tried both soft and hard tactics, but Furong just doesn't listen. I'm leaving it be now, let her decide. Children and grandchildren have their own blessings. Grandma Zhang smiled. That's good, letting go sometimes makes things easier. Oh, Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi aren't young anymore. Have they found someone outside? Elder Shangguan shook her head. Nothing from Shangguan Su yet, and I haven't heard anything from Shangguan Shi recently either, probably not going well. Did she date someone before? Grandma Zhang asked. Elder Shangguan nodded. She dated a university classmate, but the man's family had 7 sisters. We won't talk about their family conditions, but anyone with eyes could see that his parents definitely favored sons over daughters. If Shangguan Shi could secure a son after marrying, that would be one thing, but if she had a daughter, her hard days would still be ahead. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. The ice-cold skin surprisingly belongs to Ni Yang. In 1985, the family planning policy was very strict, with many people discarding their daughters hoping to have a son instead. Who could guarantee that they would have a son on their first try? So when Shangguan Shi and that male classmate were dating, not only did Grandma Shangguan disagree, but both Shangguan Dahui and Enai Tsuehua disagreed as well. Enai Tsuehua, deeply affected by the preference for boys over girls, did not want her daughter to experience the same pain she had. Although Shangguan Shi was not her biological daughter, she loved her no less. Upon hearing this, Mrs. Zhang shook her head firmly. It's good that it ended, good that it ended. Xiaoxi is such an honest child, she couldn't have coped in that kind of family. Shangguan Zai's personality resembled that of the deceased Su Fun, gentle and slow-spoken. If she had to deal with a difficult mother-in-law, she wouldn't manage. Mrs. Zhang continued, switching the topic. Xiaoxi would be more suited to a scholarly family. I think the Wu family is quite suitable. That young man over there is already 25 or 26, right? The Wu family was also well known in their circle, and Wu Qinjun was their only son. If Shangguan Shi married into their family, she would just need to be a wealthy wife. Grandma Shangguan nodded. Seems like it. Mrs. Zhang, ever the matchmaker and considering that Shangguan Shi was her granddaughter, hoped for a good marriage for her. Old sister, if you agree, I'll speak to both children and try to arrange it? Grandma Shangguan brightened up at the suggestion. That would be fine. I'll ask around tonight to see if she has completely broken up with that male classmate. All right, Mrs. Zhang nodded. That night, Grandma Shangguan approached Shangguan Shi. Xiaoxi, how are things with Xiaozhua? Zuoling was the name of Shangguan Zai's boyfriend. Shangguan Shi replied indifferently, we broke up. Grandma Shangguan beamed. Really broke up? Grandma, I've already broken up with him. Why do you seem so happy about it? Shangguan Shi was a bit speechless. Grandma Shangguan thought to herself, how could she not be happy that she broke up with that kind of person? She even wanted to set off firecrackers to celebrate. But these thoughts were not appropriate to voice aloud. To others, it might just be seen as an experience, but to Shangguan Shi, it was a piece of her lost youth. Grandma Shangguan softened her smile. Xiaoxi, your grandma mentioned introducing you to that young man from the Wu family. What do you think? Not so good. Shangguan Shi immediately shook her head. I've grown up with Wu Chunjun since childhood, we're too familiar. If it were possible, it wouldn't have waited until now. Besides, even rabbits don't eat the grass by their burrow. Shang Guanxi really wasn't interested in Wu Chunjun. Our family and the Wu family are well matched, and old Wu's daughter-in-law is also virtuous. If this marriage really happens, they'd treasure you. Shang Guanxi slightly frowned. Grandma, people value love these days. All that talk about equal social ranking is such an outdated feudal idea. I don't want a marriage of matching status. I want to marry for love. A young woman in her 20s indeed dreams of romance. All right, Grandma Shangguan said helplessly. Ultimately, it's your own life matter. We as elders can only offer suggestions, but Xiaoxi, I must tell you, love doesn't fill the stomach. Some boys are slick talkers and misleading. You must protect yourself and not be taken advantage of. Shangguan, she smiled. Don't worry, Grandma. I understand all that you've said. The next day, as Shangguan Dehui had no classes, Enai Cuehua and Shangguan Dehui took little Enai Yin to visit Zhou Dana's home. Dia auntie and uncle are here. For children took the gifts from Shangguan Dehui's hands and ran into the house. Little Enai Yin followed them. Old Zhao had gone out to set up his stall, leaving only Zhou Danny and the 4 children at home. Hearing the noise, Zhou Danny immediately welcomed them. Dia is here. Brother-in-law, come in and sit down. With Enai Yang's guidance, Zhou Dana's living conditions had improved significantly. Each child was dressed in new clothes. There was even a television set in the living room. Since guests had arrived, Zhou Danny took out some money for the children to go buy groceries. Little Enai Yin also wanted to go with them. Zhou Danny instructed, take Yunyun little sister with you, and make sure to watch over Yunyun little sister, got it? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. The ice clear and jade smooth skin actually belongs to Enai Yang. _2. Dashuan was 17 this year, Ershuan was 16, Sanshuan was 15, and even the youngest, Xiaoshuang, was now 9, so they could be trusted to look after little Enai Yin. Zhou Danny felt at ease. Dashuan patted his chest and said, Mom, rest assured I'll take good care of Yunyin. Go on then. Zhou Danny wanted to pat Dashuan's head, but realizing she could no longer reach it, she patted his shoulder instead. Zhou Danny gave them over 30 yuan, and the kids came back with a load of groceries, even buying a candied hawthorn for little Enai Yin. The Zhao family kids were all exceptionally well behaved. Although only little Enai Yin had a candied hawthorn, none of them made a fuss. After dinner, Enai Cuehua and Zhou Danny chatted idly. Danny, have you bought a house in Beijing yet? Zhou Danny shook her head. No. My husband and I are planning to save money to build a house back in our hometown. At that time, people didn't like the idea of buying houses outside their hometowns. They all wanted to make money and then go back to build houses and honor their ancestors. Enai Cuehua continued, Yang told me that there will be more and more migrant workers coming to Beijing in the future, and the housing prices will get higher and higher. Actually, you could take advantage of the current low prices to buy a few properties. The money you'd spend on building a house in your hometown would be more than enough to buy one in Beijing. Did Yang say that? Zhou Danny asked. Will there really be more and more people coming to Beijing to work? Enai Cuehua nodded. Yes, Yang said that Beijing is a metropolis and its development will only get better. Yang himself has bought several properties. In reality, it was not just several. Enai Yang already owned 3 courtyard houses and 6 apartment buildings. Zhou Danny didn't trust many people, but she trusted Enai Yang. If it weren't for Enai Yang's advice, her family would still be living frugally. They had already saved up over 10,000 yuan. Back in the day, they couldn't even save 70 or 80 yuan in a year. Nowadays, they were living a life they could hardly have dreamed of before. So on festive occasions, Zhou Danny always took her family to visit the Enai family. They couldn't be the type to forget favors and betray kindness. Zhou Danny nodded. All right, when my husband comes back, I'll discuss this matter with him. Enai Cuehua continued. Yang also said that it's best to buy housing in the city center, and if money is tight, it's also good to buy near a subway station. The Beijing subway was planned in 1953, construction began in 1965, and the first routes were completed in 1969. Operations started in 1971. On April 23, 1973, the Beijing Subway Line 1 was extended to Apple Garden Station. On September 15, 1981, the first phase of the Beijing subway was officially accepted, with operational lines running from Apple Garden Station to Beijing Station. Danny nodded. Okay, I've got it. That evening when her husband came home, Danny relayed Hua's words. Her husband took a drag of his cigarette. So we're not going back to our hometown to build a house? No, we're not, Danny replied. I've already asked Daya. She said that if we buy a house now, we can register our household here. We'll move our household registration here, and from then on, this will be our home. Finishing her thought, Danny continued. It might be a risky move, but I think the child Yang has foresight. Listening to her won't lead us astray. Besides, my brother-in-law also said it's a feasible plan, and he's a university professor. Her husband nodded. All right, I trust you. Shall we go look at houses tomorrow morning? The next morning, the couple went house hunting with their 4 children. Since they had 4 children, they needed a large place, and Danny found a 5-bedroom, 2-living-room house appealing. One of the living rooms could be turned into a bedroom to serve as a guest room. A 5-bedroom, 2-living-room house, with a total of 200 square meters, was a bare shell property, costing 35,000 yuan. The couple made a down payment of 15,000 yuan, and had 20,000 yuan left in mortgage. Her husband, now a street vendor, was able to earn over 200 yuan a day, so the 20,000 yuan mortgage wasn't a problem for them. After purchasing the house, the couple finally felt a sense of belonging in Beijing. From then on, they would be people of Beijing. Today the weather was nice, and Yang took 7 or 8 boxes of his skincare gift sets and visited Demingxian. Seeing Yang arrive, Du Jiaojiao couldn't contain her excitement. You're finally here, gorgeous. Li Yao and I have been waiting for you for days. Nearly a month had passed, and Du Jiaojiao's skin had become much better, tender and glowing with a healthy rosy hue. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. The ice clear, jade smooth skin actually belongs to Yang. _3. Yang smiled and said, I had some family matters the past few days, so I just got the chance to come over now. Sister Jiaojiao, here is the radiant ice crystal skin you wanted. Du Jiaojiao exclaimed in surprise. Big beauty, you really know how to do it. Last time we went to buy radiant ice crystal skin, there was a line, and the limited edition sets were sold out. I'm going to call Li Yao right away. Okay, Yang nodded. Just after hanging up the phone, Li Yao arrived. Big beauty. As soon as Li Yao arrived, she gave Yang a big hug. Sister Yao Yao. Li Yao was 7 years older than Yang, so Yang called her sister. Big beauty, I heard you brought the radiant ice crystal skin. As many as 8 sets. Is it true? Li Yao asked eagerly. After visiting the Radiant Ice Crystal Skin store last time, she had finally seen how in demand Radiant Ice Crystal Skin was. When she heard over the phone that Yang had brought 7 or 8 sets, Li Yao couldn't believe it. After all, each person was limited to buying only 1 set in the store, and they were out of stock. Yang nodded, yes. Wow. Yang, you are really amazing. Li Yao hugged Yang excitedly. If it weren't for Wang Hingyang standing right there, she would have kissed Yang. Yang smiled and said, actually radiant ice crystal skin is my own. Yang originally came with the intention of promoting radiant ice crystal skin, so naturally she wouldn't hide this from them. There's a saying that having connections makes things easier. Li Yao was about to return to Shanghai, and Yang wanted to expand radiant ice crystal skin into Shanghai. Having Li Yao, an acquaintance there, would make things much easier. What? Li Yao and Du Jiaojiao thought they had heard wrong. Radiant ice crystal skin was Yang's own product. Big beauty, you aren't joking with us, are you? Li Yao asked. Yang shook her head. I'm not joking, radiant ice crystal skin is really my own. Du Jiaojiao surprisingly covered her mouth. Big Beauty, I think you should change your name. What name? And Aiyang didn't catch on right away. It should be changed to Big Amazing. Du Jiaojiao said. Do you know how good radiant ice crystal skin is? It's so many times better than those imported products. It's literally a woman's savior. Whether it's anti-wrinkle cream or whitening cream, both are amazingly effective. And Aiyang somewhat embarrassedly said, it's not that exaggerated, just better than ordinary skincare products. The main reason was that this era had too few skincare products, and Aiyang just happened to have medical knowledge, adding some herbal medicine beneficial to the skin in the skincare, which made radiant ice crystal skin so effective. Moreover, Aiyang never added cheap harmful substances into skincare products because of cost concerns. Why couldn't domestic skincare brands surge in future times? It was because some people were greedy and produced toxic products like toxic masks and fluorescent creams, which gradually made people lose confidence in domestic skincare products. Big Beauty, you are too modest. By the way, Big Beauty, since you are the producer of radiant ice crystal skin, does that mean I can get whatever I want? Li Yao continued. And Aiyang nodded. Of course. Li Yao then asked, can I buy some rose essential oil? Rose essential oil is especially good for women, but because the production is very low, thousands of pounds of roses can only produce a few grams of essential oil. It's very precious, even harder to get than the limited edition radiant ice crystal skin sets. You can, and Aiyang continued. But I only have 50 grams right now. She needed to keep some for her own use in baths. Li Yao nodded eagerly. That's plenty. 50 grams is a lot. Thank you so much, Big Beauty. It's great to have connections. No more worrying about not being able to buy what you want. And Aiyang smiled and said, why be so polite with me? By the way, Sister Yao Yao, when are you planning to go back to Shanghai? Probably the day after tomorrow, Li Yao continued. Let's keep in touch after I return. I might need more radiant ice crystal skin later on. By the way, Big Beauty, your radiant ice crystal skin works so well. Have you thought about expanding to Shanghai? Shanghai is full of wealthy people. I guarantee radiant ice crystal skin will sell like hotcakes there. Who doesn't love a good product? Moreover, which woman doesn't love beauty? As long as the product works well, women don't hesitate to spend money on their faces. And Aiyang hadn't expected Li Yao to voice her thoughts before she could. She smiled and said, Sister Yao Yao, I won't lie to you. I actually had the same idea, but I don't have many connections in Shanghai, so if I rashly try to expand there. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Ice skin and jade-like complexion actually belong to Aiyang. _4. You can ask me for help, Li Yao said with a smile. I was born and raised in Shanghai. There's nothing I can't get done here. Really? And Aiyang's eyes lit up. When she smiled, 2 shallow dimples appeared on her cheeks, and her eyes shone with starlight, as if the whole world brightened with her. Her beauty was stunning. In a fleeting moment of shock, Du Yi walked by outside the window and happened to catch this scene. He paused, fingers holding Buddha beads, and then walked towards the Buddha hall. Li Yao slapped her chest and said, Of course it's true. Gorgeous, just leave this matter to me, and I guarantee you'll take care of it perfectly. As the saying goes, one feels obligated when taking from others. I've taken so much Ice Jade skincare product from you. And Aiyang, it's only natural to help you handle these matters perfectly. And these tasks were really nothing to Li Yao. Then thank you so much, Sister Yao Yao. When will you have time to discuss this in detail? And Aiyang hadn't expected Li Yao to agree so quickly. She wasn't prepared for so many things. How about tomorrow? I have to leave the day after. Li Yao thought for a moment. And Aiyang nodded. Okay, shall we meet at Noble Fragrance at 10 a.m. tomorrow? Sure. That night when she returned home, Aiyang devised a very detailed plan, and she didn't fall into a deep sleep until late into the night. The next morning, just after 8, Aiyang showed up at Noble Fragrance, spoke with Gulanji about some matters, and by 9:50, was waiting for Li Yao in the private room upstairs. Li Yao came alone. Yang handed over a detailed plan for Li Yao to look at. After a while, Li Yao looked up at Yang, her expression changed. Gorgeous, did you write this plan yourself? Uh-huh. Yang nodded. Li Yao put down the plan and grasped Yang's hand tightly. Gorgeous, can I follow you from now on? Would that be okay? Li Yao's family was very well off. She was a carefree daughter of a wealthy family. Her fiancé Wang Hengyang also came from a good background, but Li Yao was more progressive in her thinking. She didn't want to end up as a housewife after marriage, revolving her life around children and a husband. Li Yao studied medicine, but she hated the smell of the disinfectant in hospitals. After much consideration, the best choice was to sell skincare products. Ice Jade was so effective, and with Yang being someone with vision and talent, she believed that one day Ice Jade would take the world by storm. Yang said with a smile, Sister Yao Yao, stop teasing me. I should be the one following you. Li Yao said very seriously, Gorgeous, I'm not joking, I'm very serious now. I've made up my mind. I want to be an agent for your Ice Jade. Can you bring me along, please? Once she became an agent for Ice Jade, she would be the leader of the skincare industry in Shanghai. Yang had originally intended to use Li Yao to penetrate the market in East China, and she hadn't anticipated Li Yao's desire to be an agent, but this actually saved her a lot of trouble. Sister Yao Yao, are you sure you've thought this through? Li Yao nodded. I have thought it through. Yang smiled and said, well, in that case, Sister Yao Yao, let's go sign a contract. Previously, when Emily's mother, Annie, became an agent for Ice Jade, Yang had drafted a contract. Now all that needed to be done was to update the second party's name on the contract, not needing a new one. Okay. Li Yao stood up with her, then said, but is it really okay to leave like this without buying anything? It's fine, said Yang. Li Yao followed Yang to Jinghua village. Recently, Mo Qishan had brought back a printer from abroad, so there was no need to go outside for printing the contract. It could be done right at home. While Yang printed the contract, Li Yao admired the small courtyard of the Ni family. The roses on the wall swayed in the wind and greatly appealed to Li Yao's girlish heart. Oh my God! Isn't this too beautiful? Looking at the beautiful scenery in front of her, Li Yao even considered building a house in the countryside. Oh my God! Isn't this too beautiful? A sharp and strange voice echoed through the air. Li Yao looked around, frowning slightly. Who's imitating me? Who's imitating me? The voice seemed to be right by her ear. Yet there was no one to be found. Li Yao grew somewhat nervous. Who are you? Who are you? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. The ice clear and jade smooth skin actually belongs to Yang. _5. This is just too weird. Li Yao gathered her hands and rubbed her arms. Are you a human or a ghost? Originally, Li Yao thought she would hear the same repeated words, but unexpectedly the other party said, a ghost. Damn it. A ghost. Li Yao was so scared that her face turned pale. Just then, Yang came out of the door with a smile. Duo, stop playing ghost tricks. Come on out. Chirp. Duo flew out from the dense osmanthus tree. Yang. Li Yao said in surprise, Gorgeous. Was it this bird talking just now? Yang nodded. Yes, it was. It's so smart. Li Yao reached out and stroked Duo's little head. What do you usually feed it? Duo squinted its small eyes and nuzzled against Li Yao's palm. Its demeanor even meeker than a soft, cuddly kitty by more than a little. Li Yao's girlish heart instantly melted, and she kept saying how cute Duo was. Duo was a flirtatious bird, familiar with females, but with males, no one could even touch it. Of course, Mo Qishan and Grandpa Du were exceptions. Before long, Duo learned to follow Li Yao and started calling Yang gorgeous. Yang gorgeous. Gorgeous. Li Yao laughed and said, Gorgeous, how much for your bird? I'll buy it. Upon hearing this, Duo flew faster than a rabbit, quickly landing on Yang's shoulder and hiding its small head in her long hair, showing its butt to Li Yao. Shoot. Scared the bird to death. Seeing this, Li Yao couldn't help but laugh even more, This bird was just too funny. Ni Yang handed the contract to Li Yao. Sister Yao Yao, see if there's anything that needs to be changed in the contract. Li Yao picked up the pen and signed. No need to change anything, I trust your character. Although she hadn't known Ni Yang for long, Li Yao knew she wasn't that kind of person. Just look at Jiao Jiao's attitude to know what kind of person Ni Yang was. Despite Jiao Jiao seeming quite approachable usually, she was actually fierce. Not just anyone could become friends with Jiao Jiao. None of the descendants of the Du family were weaklings. It proved that Ni Yang was indeed trustworthy. After signing the contract, Li Yao paid a part of the deposit. Once she had things arranged back in Shanghai, Ni Yang would send the ice skin jade complexion via express delivery. Sister Yao Yao, do you want to visit the factory? Ni Yang asked. Sure, Li Yao nodded. Is the factory far from here? Ni Yang said. Not far, just behind here. Just behind? Li Yao was a bit surprised. Ni Yang nodded. Come on, I'll take you there. The factory was just behind the Ni family's small courtyard. Because the houses in front were built high, the factory was obscured, invisible from the outside. Before entering, the two of them put on sterile suits. Looking at Ni Yang, Li Yao couldn't help but exclaim. A beauty is a beauty. Even wearing such an unattractive sterile suit, you still look good. Inside the factory, Li Yao found that all the machinery was very advanced and the workers were very dedicated. Everyone was wearing sterile suits, with no safety hazards at all. But the factory seemed a bit small, consisting of only a few rooms, with a little over 30 workers in total. After coming out, Li Yao brought up this issue to Ni Yang. Ni Yang said, Actually, I've been considering expanding recently. Ice skin jade complexion was growing increasingly popular, and the current production was barely keeping up with sales. Fortunately, some products were limited edition. Otherwise, there would be nowhere near enough to meet demand. Moreover, sales of ice skin jade complexion were also quite good in M country, and almost every so often, Ni Yang would send a large shipment over. After a while, once the Shanghai market opened up, she estimated there would definitely be more demand than supply. So it was best to make plans early. Li Yao continued. Actually, this time you could consider building a bigger one to save the trouble of expanding later. It's too much hassle. Ni Yang nodded. Yes, you make a good point. Li Yao took off her sterile suit. If you're short on funds, you can tell me. Setting up a factory, buying imported equipment, hiring a factory manager and workers, and procuring skincare ingredients. All of these added up to a significant amount of money. Some imported equipment could cost thousands each. Ni Yang said with a smile. Thank you, but I think it should be enough. After Li Yao left, Ni Yang sat in the courtyard, earnestly pondering this issue, and drafted a design plan. Since she wanted to expand the factory, the facilities had to be improved. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. The ice clear and jade smooth skin actually belongs to Ni Yang. _6. For instance, a worker's canteen, dormitories, restrooms, building such a factory would require a large plot of land, and one would first need to apply for land from the village. After finalizing the design plans, Ni Yang went to find the village chief. Ni Yang did this to drive the development of Jinghua village, and naturally, the village chief was more than willing. However, he could not make this decision alone, as the factory would occupy a large area, and it was necessary to have every person in Jinghua village agree and stamp the application form. Now, Ni Yang was the pride of Jinghua village, so the process went very smoothly. There wasn't a single person who disagreed. After the villagers agreed, approval from higher authorities was still needed. Expanding the factory required many procedures, so taking advantage of the approval period, Ni Yang went to the Bureau of Industry and Commerce to get all sorts of permits in order. She definitely didn't want to open an unauthorized black factory. 3 days later, the land was officially approved, located at the eastern end of the village, about a 10-minute walk from the Ni family. The area was originally wasteland, filled with weeds and trees, covering more than 3,000 square meters. Ni Yang planned to construct a 10-story factory here, with offices in the front and employee dormitories in the back. Each floor would have 3 restrooms. To build the factory, of course, one must find Wu Jinshu. After all, Wu Jinshu now owned a construction company. A factory was no small order. As for Wang Tiniu and others, they had long since stopped doing such manual labor. Now they were at home growing roses and portulaca. When Enai approached Wu Jinshu, he expressed with some trepidation, Yang, I am afraid I might not do a good job. It was the first time Wu Jinshu had received such a large order since opening his business. Enai said with a smile, Godfather, in the future, you might receive orders 10 or 100 times bigger than this one. What is there to be afraid of? Relax, I won't delay paying the wages. Wu Jinshu said, Yang, that's not what I mean. I'm just afraid I might not do a good job. Enai trusted him so much. What if he messed things up? Enai continued, Godfather, the principle is the same whether it's a small order or a large one. As long as you work attentively, there will be no problem. I believe in you. After hearing this from Enai, Wu Jinshu felt much more relaxed and nodded. Okay. Yang, when do you plan to start the work? Enai said, Godfather, if you can arrange things on your end, how about tomorrow? Wu Jinshu nodded. No problem. After finalizing the factory's arrangements, Enai began recruiting. Although the factory was not yet built, some preparations had to be made in advance, especially since the new factory was more than 10 times larger than before. More employees were needed than before. Enai planned to hire 300 general workers, as well as quality inspectors, accountants, a factory manager, clerical staff, and security personnel. All these positions together required over 400 people. It was impossible to recruit all these people in Jinghua village. Almost everyone in the village already had a job. So Enai decided to recruit in the neighboring village. Enai's main goal was to drive the development of the village, so she didn't want to recruit from outside. Actually, Enai also had the intention of winning people's hearts. After all, the neighboring village and Jinghua village were very close. If the people from their village really wanted to sabotage, it would be quite easy. Instead of going to war, it was better to turn enemies into friends and earn money together. When Enai released this news, the neighboring village was stirred up immediately. You see, the wages Enai offered were 60 yuan a month. To get a job in a state-owned factory outside, not only did you need educational qualifications, but also connections, and the key point was the salary was only half of what Enai offered. People came in droves to apply. Enai wouldn't reject anyone except the elderly, as general labor didn't require much skill. It took Enai a full 10 days to sort out the worker situation. Only the factory manager and some clerical positions were still unresolved. But there were still more than 3 months left until the factory building was completed, so there was no rush, as the factory manager was a crucial position leading a factory and couldn't be taken lightly. Time flew by fast, and in a blink, another 10 days had passed. Today was Yan Erge's birthday, so Enai and Enai Tsuehua went to the Wu family to celebrate Yan Erge's birthday. Enai Tsuehua couldn't help but increasingly feel that Wu Yanyan was like her own lost daughter. While Enai was helping Yan Erju cook in the kitchen, Shangguan Dehui was playing with little Enai Yin in the first-floor courtyard. Dalong and Erlong took Xiaolong out to find friends to play with, and Wu Jinshu hadn't returned from the construction site, leaving only Wu Yanyan and Enai Tsuehua in the house. Enai Tsuehua licked her dry lips and tentatively asked, Yanyan, have you ever thought about finding your biological parents? This matter was no longer a secret in the Wu family. Wu Yanyan shook her head. No. Since they decided to abandon me, I have no need to look for them, and besides, my adoptive parents treat me so well. I don't want to do anything that would upset them. Enai Tsuehua felt a flicker in her brow, immensely disheartened inside, but still maintained a smile on her face. What if they come looking for you? Enai Tsuehua asked. Wu Yanyan said firmly, even if they come, I won't acknowledge them. From the moment they abandon me, I cease to be their child. People who abandon their children have no right to be parents. Wu Yanyan had never fantasized about her biological parents coming to find her. And even if they did, she definitely wouldn't give them another glance. Then do you hate them? asked Anai Tsuehua. Wu Yanyan smiled. Maybe, I don't know. I've never even seen their faces, so it's hard to feel hatred. But if one day I do meet them, I think I would hate them. What kind of parents were they, to throw away their own flesh and blood? Having been abandoned since she was a baby and never even tasted her mother's milk, how could she not hate them? At the same time, Wu Yanyan also felt fortunate that she was picked up by Yan Erju. Though Yan Erju and Wu Jinshu were not her biological parents, they were more than real parents to her. Sometimes, Wu Yanyan felt she was incredibly lucky. Wu Yanyan had heard from Anai Yang about Anai Kuihua's situation, and knew that Anai Tsuehua had previously abandoned 3 daughters, so she felt particularly sympathetic towards Anai Tsuehua. Seeing Anai Tsuehua like this, she comforted. Auntie Hua, you had your reasons for abandoning your children, so I believe they definitely won't hate you. Really? Anai Tsuehua looked up at Wu Yanyan. Wu Yanyan nodded. Really, Auntie Hua, you and Sister Yang Yang are good people. I believe your children will understand you. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. The influence of the top national scholar. With Wu Yanyan's words, Anai Tsuehua felt somewhat better. No matter what, Wu Yanyan was still willing to forgive her. At noon, Wu Jinshu returned. Because he had just come back from the construction site, he was covered in dust, so Wu Yanyan quickly stood up to take the tools from Wu Jinshu's hands. Dad, you're back. Go take a shower, and we can start eating soon. All right, Wu Jinshu greeted Shengguan Dehui, Anai Tsuehua, and the others, then went to the bathroom to shower. Watching the sensible Wu Yanyan, Anai Kuihua's eyes reddened slightly. Fearing that others would notice, she hurriedly took out a handkerchief to wipe her eyes. She wondered, if those 3 children hadn't been abandoned back then, what would the result be now? Soon after, Wu Jinshu finished his shower, and the food was laid out on the table. Anai Yang had taught Yan Erju quite a few cooking tips that day. Yan Erju greatly benefited and said with a smile, Yang Yang, you're amazing. I've been cooking for most of my life and never knew that adding a bit of salt to the oil when frying fish would prevent it from sticking to the pan. There were also tips like adding a few drops of cooking oil when boiling rice to make it whiter, fluffier, and sweeter. Anai Yang said, I heard it from the chefs at the restaurant. They have rich life experiences. I wouldn't know these things. In fact, these were all experiences Anai Yang had accumulated in her past life, but now, after all, she was just a teenage girl, whose life experience couldn't possibly be so rich. Since the Wu family had many children, Anai Yang had brought a 2-tiered big cake that day. Anai Yang was a person who could create a pleasant atmosphere. She led everyone in singing the birthday song. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. The children's voices were especially sweet and lovely. Yan Erju, wearing a birthday hat, stood in front of the birthday cake with a face full of happiness. It all felt like a dream to her. Before blowing out the candles, Godmother, make a wish first, Anai Yang continued. Yan Erju said with a smile. Then I wish that next year Xiaoyan can get into a good university just like Yang Yang, and that our whole family stays safe and healthy. Anai Yang smiled slightly. Godmother, you have to make a wish in your heart. Saying it out loud won't work. Yan Erju immediately put her hands together. Right, oh, make it in my heart then. This was Yan Erju's first birthday of this kind, and it was also her first time eating a birthday cake. And likewise, it was the first time for Wu Jinshu and the children to have birthday cake. The cream's sweetness, the cake's softness, and the fruit's fresh aroma made the cake simply delicious. On the way back from the Wu family, Anai Tsuehua said, Dehui, the more I look at Yan Yan, the more she reminds me of Erniu. Do you think she looks like me? Shengguan Dehui nodded. I think so too. The child has been well raised by the Wu family. She's very sensible. This was also the most comforting thing for Anai Tsuehua. As she spoke, Anai Tsuehua turned towards Anai Yang. Yang Yang, when can we expect the results from that paternity test you mentioned last time? Anai Yang, one hand on the steering wheel, the other brushing a loose strand of hair behind her ear, replied. It should take about a month or so. Mom, don't worry. Once the results are out, the hospital will notify us. Anai Tsuehua nodded and continued. Yang Yang, if Yanyan really is your second sister, do you think she will forgive me? And Young thought for a moment. That's hard to say. Although she had already prepared Wu Yanyan earlier, but after all, the person who was abandoned was her. Sometimes a bystander's perspective and an experiencer's feelings are completely different. And Tsuehua sighed. I wronged those 3 children. Shangguan Dehui put an arm around Kuihua's shoulder. Dia, it's not your fault. It was soon time for the new school term, and Yang had previously promised Han Xiaoyu to treat her to a meal. Yang cycled to the Han family to find Han Xiaoyu. When she arrived, Han Xiaoyu wasn't at home, but Han's mother, seeing Yang, was especially enthusiastic. Yang, you're here to see Xiaoyu, aren't you? Come in and sit down. Xiaoyu isn't home right now. I'll go call her for you. Although Han's mother had only met Yang once, she had seen her again on television. Yang was the national top science scorer. Thinking that her daughter was classmates with the top science scorer made Han's mother feel honored. And Han's mother was very grateful to Yang. Without Yang's tutoring, Han Xiaoyu wouldn't have been able to get into a first-tier university. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. The influence of the top national scholar. _2. 2 years ago, when Xiaoyu took her college entrance exam, she only got into a junior college. Actually, her usual grades weren't bad. It was just that something would go awry every time it came to taking tests. Yang smiled and said, Auntie Han, since Xiaoyu isn't at home, I'll come by again tomorrow. Come in, come in. Xiaoyu's mom pulled Yang, not letting her leave. Xiaoyu is just at the neighbor's house not far ahead. I'll go and come back quickly. You mustn't leave, okay? Faced with such enthusiasm from Han Xiaoyu's mom, Yang found it hard to decline any further, so she simply said, Then I'll trouble you, Auntie Han. No trouble at all, no trouble, it's the least I can do, Xiaoyu's mom said while waving her hand hurriedly. As they stepped out of the courtyard, a neighbor asked Xiaoyu's mom if a relative had come to visit. Xiaoyu's mom smiled and said, No, not a relative. She's Xiaoyu's deskmate, the national top scorer in science this year. The one who has been on TV before. Do you know of her? Every parent with a child cared about the college entrance exam results. Of course we know. Speaking of that girl, not only are her academic grades excellent, but she's also pretty. Oh, if I were her mother, I'd be laughing even in my dreams. Auntie Han, is the top scorer really at your house? Someone else expressed skepticism. Really, Xiaoyu's mom continued. I'm going to call Xiaoyu back home. In a while, you all could come over to my house. The top scorer is at my place. With that said, Xiaoyu's mom went off to look for Han Xiaoyu. When hearing that Yang had come, Xiaoyu was particularly overjoyed. Mom, Yang really came? Xiaoyu's mom said with a smile. You child, would I joke with you? Xiaoyu continued. Then Yang must have come to treat me to a meal. Treat you to a meal? Xiaoyu's mom asked, puzzled. Yes. Xiaoyu nodded, adding, Yang scored the top score, right? She promised me before. Xiaoyu's mom took out 30 yuan from her pocket and handed it to Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu, when it's time to eat, you should pay the bill. Yang has helped you so much, you can't let her pay. When Xiaoyu saw the 30 yuan, she was delighted. Mom, when did you become so generous? It was known that Xiaoyu's mom's monthly salary was only 50 yuan a month. They usually only bought meat once during the entire winter holiday. It was unexpected that she would be willing to pull out 30 yuan all at once. Hearing this, Xiaoyu's mom said without words, When has your mom ever been stingy? When you go out to eat with Yang, you certainly can't choose too shabby a place. Take it. You have to spend the money where it matters. Yang is a friend worth making. Xiaoyu nodded. Okay, I understand. Just as the two of them reached the Han family's house, they saw a crowd of people waiting at the door. Xiaoyu was stunned. Mom, why are there so many people at our door? Xiaoyu's mom said with a smile. They are all here to see the national top scorer. Being able to see someone who had been on TV at that time was not an easy feat. And since Yang was the national top scorer, her popularity naturally rose. Everyone wanted to see what the national top scorer actually looked like. Xiaoyu swallowed hard. She was a bit worried that Young might be unhappy seeing so many people flock to her house. The result proved that Xiaoyu had worried too much. Not only was Young not angry, but she was also very enthusiastic, always maintaining a smile on her face, dimples showing shallowly. Wow, this girl is even more beautiful than on TV. Goodness. I didn't expect to see her in person today. Young lady, how is your brain wired? How did you manage to score top in the nation? Young lady, can we take a photo together? It's said that a top scorer is the reincarnation of the Wenchang star from the heavens. Young lady, can we take a photo together? Let us also share a bit of the Wenchang star's good fortune. Sure, Young nodded. I just so happened to have brought my camera. Seeing that Young agreed, everyone was very happy. They thought Young would refuse such a request, but she was approachable. Young being approachable made Xiaoyu's mom very happy. She liked Young even more, seeing that Young didn't let her down, made her look good in front of the neighbors. Of course, she liked Young. Young set the camera to automatic mode, and took quite a few photos with everyone. After leaving the Han family's house, Xiaoyu said, Young, everyone really likes you. That's right, Young said with a mix of pride and coquetry. I'm so good-looking, beloved by all, flowers bloom at my sight, and birds are stunned into silence. How could people not like me? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. The influence of the top national scholar. _3. Han Xiaoyu. Come on up. Young braced one foot on the ground, the other on the pedal, and looked back towards Han Xiaoyu as the sunlight turned her profile snow-white, refined as jade. Everything behind her became a backdrop. Even Han Xiaoyu, a girl herself, was dazzled for a moment before saying, Young, you're going to take me? MHM. Young nodded. Han Xiaoyu said with a smile, I'm quite heavy, can you really carry me? That wasn't a joke. Xiaoyu, at 1.67 meters, weighed 120 pounds. She didn't look overweight, but her muscles were particularly firm. I can carry you. Yang's gaze was indifferent. Really? Han Xiaoyu was skeptical, eyeing Yang's slim figure. Barely weighing a few dozen pounds. Could she really manage it? Really? Yang said with a smile. Hurry up and get on then. Han Xiaoyu hesitated, then sat on the bicycle's rear seat, holding on to Yang's waist, and expressed her astonishment. Wow, Yang, your waist is so thin. There's not even a bit of excess fat. Typically, when people sit down, there's at least a little bit of fat around the waist, but Yang's waist was utterly devoid of any. So slender it could be encircled with a hand. It made one die with envy. Yang spoke with a smile. If you like it, you could have it too. I could have it too. Han Xiaoyu asked. Yep, Yang nodded, then continued. A good figure is all about eating right. I'll write you a dietary plan someday. If you eat according to it, just give it 3 months, and you'll have an unbeatable figure. Really? That's great. Han Xiaoyu nodded eagerly. Yang pushed off with her foot. Hold on tight, we should get going. The sudden movement made Han Xiaoyu quickly tighten her grip on Yang's waist. They were moving fast, and Xiaoyu hadn't expected Yang to actually be able to carry her. Impressive, truly impressive. No wonder she was the top student in the whole city. The sunlight was just right, the years serene. The two of them, riding along, laughed incessantly. Isn't that my junior sister? Wang Ziki suddenly spotted a very familiar figure. Duo turned to look and saw a person cycling past, leaving behind just a glimpse of a white skirt hem. Before Duo could speak, Ziki went on. My junior sister is incredible, carrying someone on her bike and still cycling so fast. Let's go, Duo said, withdrawing his gaze with a cool tone in his voice. Ziki realized he had said too much and promptly shut his mouth, following Duo's lead. Yang parked the bike in front of the Gus Tianxiang, and Han Xiaoyu asked in surprise, Yang, why did you stop here? I'm taking you out to eat, Yang answered with a smile. Out to eat? Here? Han Xiaoyu swallowed hard. Yang, this is Gus Tianxiang. At first, she had just jokingly suggested it but hadn't actually expected to dine at Gus Tianxiang. I know this is Gus Tianxiang. I wouldn't have come if it weren't. Come on, let's get off. We're going to eat here today. And Yang replied decisively. She always kept her word. Since she'd promised Han Xiaoyu to eat at Gus Tianxiang, of course, they had to come. Han Xiaoyu got off the bike. Yang, but I heard Gus Tianxiang is really expensive, and you need a membership card. With this long queue at the door, if we don't have a card, how long will we have to wait? Though Xiaoyu had never been to Gus Tianxiang, her cousin from her aunt's side had. Her aunt's family was much better off than hers, but her aunt didn't have a membership card. They had only been to Gus Tianxiang once, and though it was just that single time, they had bragged about it repeatedly, mentioning it every time they met. And Yang propped up the bike. No worries, I have a membership card. Really? Han Xiaoyu's mouth hung open in surprise. Really? And Yang took Han Xiaoyu's arm. Let's head inside. The moment they stepped through the grand entrance of Gus Tianxiang, Xiaoyu was stunned. The dining hall was packed, yet it wasn't chaotic. Instead, it was orderly, with waiters decked in hanfu darting between the tables, the surroundings and decorations beautifully arrayed, dreamlike and enchanting. So beautiful. Han Xiaoyu couldn't help but exclaim. It wasn't until they reached a private room on the third floor that Han Xiaoyu understood what a true paradise on earth was. And Yang ordered many dishes, all of which Han Xiaoyu had never tried before. As each dish was served, the waiter would introduce it. This one is called Flowers of Wealth and Honor, with the wish that both of you will have a bright future, full of wealth and honor. With those words, the waiter tapped gently with a small spoon. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. The influence of the national top scholar. _4. Snap. The round, eggshell-like item cracked open, and as the smoke dispersed, a strikingly lifelike peony flower emerged. Is this a real flower? Han Xiaoyu asked. No, the waiter shook their head. It is carved from cream and pudding, with a layer of mango at the very inside. You should try it. Han Xiaoyu scooped a small piece and tasted it, squinting her eyes with satisfaction. Oh my god! This is delicious. Yang, you have to try this. And Yang also took a bite. Indeed, it's good. Han Xiaoyu held a spoon in one hand and the dessert in the other. Yang, take a photo of me. I want to show it off when I get back. It wasn't easy for her to come to Peony Flower, so of course she wanted to boast about it. And Yang picked up the camera and snapped several photos of Han Xiaoyu, not minding the cost of the film at all. After the meal, Han Xiaoyu intended to pay the bill, but upon touching her pocket, she found only 30 yuan and thought better of it. This amount wasn't even sufficient to cover the loose change. When she graduated and started making money, she resolved to treat Yang to delicious food from all over the world. After their meal, the two left the restaurant, and Yang took Han Xiaoyu to the photo studio. Han Xiaoyu asked in surprise, Yang, you have a camera, right? Why are we going to a photo studio? I'm here to pick up some photos. And Yang said, a few days ago, I left some film here for the boss to develop. The photos Yang had developed were from the recent graduation photo session at school. Oh. Han Xiaoyu nodded in understanding. The young lady is here. Your photos are ready, said the kind, elderly boss in his 60s. Thank you. And Yang took the envelope with the photos. How much do I owe you? The boss said, 300 photos total up to 3 yuan and 50 cents, but 3 yuan will do. Han Xiaoyu quickly pulled out 3 yuan and handed it to the boss. Here you are, boss. The boss accepted the 3 yuan with a cheerful smile. And Yang said with a smile, you don't have to pay, I have money. Han Xiaoyu replied, you've already spent quite a bit at Peony Flower. It can't always be just you paying. Just then the photo studio boss spoke up. Young lady, I kept a negative of this photo. May I display it in the studio as a sample? It was a photo of Yang and Han Xiaoyu together. And Yang smiled and said, I'm okay with it, Xiaoyu, what about you? Han Xiaoyu said, I'm fine with it too. Thank you. The boss hurriedly expressed his gratitude, and then said, young lady, I see your photos were taken at the city number 3 middle school. You look somewhat familiar. Are you the national top scorer in Young from this year? This year's national top scorer was famously well known. After the interviews from the TV station, she became a household name. Previous national top scorers had always been boys, but this time a girl had achieved it. It goes without saying that Young had fiercely won pride for girls. At that time, people didn't value girls' education much. In a class of over 50 students, almost 60, there were only 15 girls. The rest were boys. Young had shattered the stereotype that girls are innately poor learners. As a result, more families will start sending their girls to school. It was precisely to set a good example with Young that the TV station came over for several interviews, and she was even featured on the national news broadcast twice. Thus, many who followed the news felt a faint sense of familiarity upon seeing Young. Before Young could reply, Han Xiaoyu hastily nodded. Yes. Grandpa, your eyesight is excellent. This is this year's national top scorer. From now on, your photo studio can be renamed the Top Scorer Photo Studio. Oh my, the boss was utterly thrilled. I knew this young girl looked familiar. So she really is the top scorer. Here, take your money back. From now on, you both get free photo developing whenever you come here. The boss handed the money back to Han Xiaoyu. Han Xiaoyu smiled and said, You keep the money, boss. Who does business without charging? We can't have you losing money on our account. As Han Xiaoyu refused to take the money back, the boss reluctantly kept it while inwardly marveling at how much more understanding and mature students were nowadays. As the national quality improved, China would only continue to grow stronger. After collecting the photos, Young took Han Xiaoyu to the post office. Yang, are you really going to send all these photos to our classmates' homes? Han Xiaoyu was somewhat surprised. She had thought Young was only speaking off the cuff. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. The influence of the top national scholar. _5. Young really meant it when she said she would keep her word. Young said with a smile, A person must be trustworthy. Having promised my classmates, I wouldn't go back on my word. There were 58 classmates in class 5, and each one of them got a photo taken with Young. Some had 2, others had 3. Apart from Han Xiaoyu and Young herself, a total of 56 were to be sent out. At that time, there were no machine-generated shipping labels, so addresses had to be written by hand. Young took out a notebook with her classmates' addresses and, with Han Xiaoyu's help, they filled out all the addresses in less than 20 minutes. Young sent them express, which meant they would reach her classmates in about 3 or 4 days. The shipping cost was a total of 26 yuan, and once again, Han Xiaoyu rushed to pay. When the classmates received these photos, they were all very surprised. None of them had expected Young to actually keep her promise. When they took the photos, none of them thought she would truly send them. It must be said that Young added quite a few vibrant strokes to their high school life. And Young easily won a great deal of goodwill. After all, these classmates would one day be pillars of the country. Demi-villa. After Li Yao left, Du Jiaojia was bored at home. All Elder Du did was sit in the Buddha hall and chant incessantly, so much that her ears were about to develop calluses from the noise. Stop chanting already. Yang will be starting school soon, and I'd like to visit Yang's home. Are you coming? Du Jiaojia leaned against the door, arms crossed. Apart from the birthday visit, it had always been Young visiting them at Demi Villa. They had not yet gone to the family home. After waiting for a long while without a reply, just when Du Jiaojia thought he wouldn't go, Elder Du put down his wooden fish and said, Let's go. Du Jiaojia was taken aback. You're coming too? Elder Du nodded. I heard Yang has moved out. She doesn't live with the Zheng family anymore. Do you know the way? Du Jiaojia asked. Elder Du twisted the Buddha beads. Ziki knows the way. Wang Ziki and his parents had visited the family several times. Oh. Du Jiaojia nodded, then asked, There are a lot of elderly people at Yang's home and a little sister too. What do you think we should buy as gifts? Elder Du, with a distant expression, responded, "You decide." Okay. Du Jiaojiao ordered several nutritional supplements and toys for children to be delivered before she and Elder Du set off for the Ni family home. Before arriving at Jinghua village, Du Jiaojiao's perception of the countryside was that it was dirty and disordered. She could not have imagined that the environment in Jinghua village would be so beautiful. The scenery was picturesque. Absolutely gorgeous. Junior sister. Junior sister. Wang Ziki stood at the door knocking. Ziki is here. The one who opened the door was old Madame Zheng. Elder Du and Miss Du are here too, come in. Elder Du's reputation was influential within 10 miles. Even nonagenarians would address him respectfully. Elder Du said modestly, "In your presence, I am the junior. You can just call me Xiaodu." Du Jiaojiao also smiled and said, "Grandma, my name is Du Jiaojiao, just call me Jiaojiao." Old Madame Zheng didn't bother with further pleasantries and led them inside. Once inside the Ni family courtyard, Du Jiaojiao couldn't help but admire how beautiful the small courtyard was designed. Especially those 2 rose walls. They were just stunning. Old Madame Zheng laughed. This yard and house were designed by Yang Yang. Really? Du Jiaojiao exclaimed in surprise. Old Madame Zheng nodded. This child takes after her maternal grandfather. She loves to be creative and adores flowers and plants. Elder Du observed the courtyard discreetly and noticed that not only was the design appealing, but the feng shui setup was also very clever, interconnected throughout. It seemed her claims of knowing fortune-telling did indeed hold some merit. Inside, Shangguan Granny was teaching little Ni Yin an ancient poem. Upon the guest's arrival, she immediately stood up. "Elder Du, Miss Du are here." "You're too polite, just call me Xiaodu." Elder Du repeated what he said to old Madame Zheng. Du Jiaojiao also smiled and suggested they call her by her name. Little Ni Yin was very outgoing and immediately ran over to grab Du Jiaojiao's skirt, saying, "Hello, beautiful sister." Du Jiaojiao generally didn't like children much, since they tended to cry, which she found annoying, but upon seeing the adorable little Yunyan, she was instantly full of maternal affection, mainly because being called beautiful sister was just too pleasing. "You must be little Yunyan, right?" Du Jiaojiao picked up little Ni Yin. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." The influence of the national top scholar. _6. Little Ni Yin nodded. "Yes, my name is Ni Yin, the Yin from my sister's Ni Yin." "Yunyan is awesome." Du Jiaojiao pinched little Ni Yin's face. "Will you give your big sister a kiss?" "Sure." Little Ni Yin kissed Du Jiaojiao fiercely. A while later, Du Jiaojiao realized that Ni Yang wasn't home. "Grandma, where is Yang Yang? Is Yang Yang not home?" Madame Shangguan said. "She was just here. She disappeared in the blink of an eye." As soon as she finished speaking, there was noise at the door. "Granny. Grandma. Embark." Ni Yang pushed the door open, carrying 2 big fat fish in her hands. Her clear face smeared with a drop of mud, like a stroke of thick ink mistakenly entering clear water, which, far from looking awkward, added a touch of charm. She wore no shoes, her trouser legs rolled up to her calves, revealing a segment of her fair and lovely leg. Seeing the guests in the house, Ni Yang exclaimed in surprise, "Big brother Du, sister Jiaojiao, how come you're here?" Du Jiaojiao said with a smile, "Why? Aren't you happy to see us?" Ni Yang smiled slightly. "How could that be? I couldn't be happier. Have a seat, I'll take the fish to the kitchen." "I'll go with you." Du Jiaojiao linked her arm with Ni Yang's. "Okay." Ni Yang nodded her head and led Du Jiaojiao to the kitchen. After delivering the fish to the kitchen, Ni Yang washed her feet under the garden tap, found a pair of slippers to put on, and casually washed her face. Du Jiaojiao said, "Yang Yang, your house decoration is really nice. I heard from your grandma that you designed it yourself." Ni Yang nodded. "I did design it myself. Initially, it was just for fun. I didn't expect the outcome to be this appealing." Perhaps finding the room stuffy, old Du and Wang Ziki came to sit down by the small stone table in the yard. Madame Zheng brought some pastries and tea. Old Du stood up and said, "You're too polite." Madame Zheng smiled. There's no need for politeness. Just relax, old Du and Xiaodu. When Du Jiaojiao saw the mung bean cakes on the plate, her brow twitched with worry, because old Du doesn't eat legumes. He surely wouldn't embarrass an elderly lady, would he? Just as Du Jiaojiao felt anxious, she saw old Du take a piece of mung bean cake and taste it. It tastes very good. This must be homemade, right? Madame Zheng smiled. Exactly, Yang just made them yesterday. They're very fresh. Seeing this, Du Jiaojiao breathed a sigh of relief. Thankfully, old Du didn't make the old lady feel awkward. Otherwise, it would have been embarrassing. Plop. Just then, a small bird landed on old Du's shoulder. You little rascal, you've come. Are you still holding grudges? Can't you change the nickname? Old Du took out a grain of bird food from his pocket to feed Duo. Duo pecked at the bird food. Du Chengfeng. Du Chengfeng. My name is Du Chengfeng. Old Du. Du Jiaojiao was stunned. How did Duo know old Du's real name? After all, in the entire 10-mile port, the number of people who know old Du's real name did not exceed 10. This was really bizarre. Old Du actually told his name to a bird. If those outside found out, wouldn't they be furious? Little bastard, want more to eat. Duo pecked at old Du boldly. Little Yin ran over from not far away, panting, and said to old Du, Brother, your name is really strange. That's what my grandpa calls people when he curses. Old Du kept smiling. On the surface, grinning from ear to ear. Inside, swearing a streak. Haha. Du Jiaojiao couldn't help but burst into laughter, holding her stomach. For the first time in her life, Du Jiaojiao saw old Du lose face. It was just too rare. Yang picked up the basket, preparing to get some vegetables. Sister Jiaojiao, do you want to come with me to the village? Sure. Du Jiaojiao replied enthusiastically. The two of them went to the fields together. From afar, Du Jiaojiao smelled a strong fragrance of roses, which was very pleasant. Yang, are there roses planted here? Du Jiaojiao asked. Yang smiled and said, Sister Jiaojiao, turn around and look behind you. Du Jiaojiao turned around and was stunned, covering her mouth with both hands, eyes filled with shock. She saw behind her a vast expanse of fiery red. It was September, and the farmland was filled with blooming roses, stretching to the horizon, a sight so beautiful it was breathtaking. It had a monumental presence. Du Jiaojiao had seen roses before, but she had never seen such a large expanse of roses. Combined, these roses must cover several hundred yuan. So beautiful. Du Jiaojiao exclaimed in shock. Yang, are these all roses? Yang nodded. These roses are the raw materials for essential oils and hydrosols. Du Jiaojiao continued. Yang, can we go over and take a closer look? Of course. The two of them went to the rose field. Du Jiaojiao was overjoyed, stretching out her arms and saying, It would be great if we had a camera. Yang laughed and said, We have a camera at home. We can come back here to take pictures after lunch. Really? That's great. Du Jiaojiao continued. Can I pick some roses to take back? A peasant woman walked by, smiling and saying, You can pick as much as you like. Yang greeted her with a smile. Sister Kaitian. Sister Kaitian said, Yang, is this your friend? Let her pick as much as she wants. My place doesn't have much, but we have plenty of roses. Yang nodded. Thank you, Sister Kaitian. Du Jiaojiao also expressed her gratitude. She could feel that Yang was very popular in Jinghua village because the villagers' smiles were genuine. Du Jiaojiao picked a large bunch of roses to take back, and Yang discreetly counted them, planning to settle the account later with Sister Kaitian. Coincidentally, not long after, Yan Erju and Wu Jinshu and their family of 6 also arrived. Wu Jinshu came specifically to thank Yang. If it weren't for Yang, he wouldn't have landed such a big project, and Yang's family had been really good to his family. Seeing Mr. Du again, Wu Yanyan was startled. She didn't expect to meet Mr. Du at Yang's house. She was even more surprised that Yang and Mr. Du knew each other. Yang took the initiative to introduce them. Godfather, Godmother Yanyan, this is my good friend Mr. Du, and this lady here is Miss Du. This is my master's son Wang Ziki. Mr. Du nodded at them. Du Jiaojiao said with a smile. Uncle, Aunt, just call me Jiaojiao. Wang Ziki followed up. Uncle, Aunt, you can just call me Ziki. After speaking, Wang Ziki added. Junior sister, I didn't expect this little comrade to be your younger sister. Because Wu Yanyan was somewhat stubborn, Wang Ziki had some impression of her. Wu Yanyan said, It's a small world, I didn't expect that you knew Sister Yang Yang. And Yang exclaimed in surprise, You know each other? Wu Yanyan looked at Mr. Du and succinctly said, Mr. Du has been kind to me. That 100 yuan really solved a lot of problems for the Wu family, and Wu Yanyan had already done as Mr. Du suggested, distributing that 100 yuan to those in need. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Do you want another slap? What exactly the favor was, and Yang didn't ask further. But she was somewhat surprised. Because in all the time she had known Grandpa Du, she never knew he had a compassionate side. Although Grandpa Du practiced Buddhism, he had a fierce and violent demon living in his heart. And Yang said with a smile. So it's like that, huh? Since everyone knows each other, there's no need to be reserved. Uh-huh. Wu Yanyan nodded. Seeing that it was almost time for dinner, and Yang went to cook, while Du Jiaojiao, who had never cooked before, found the earthen stove intriguing. Rolling up her sleeves, she offered to help Yang. In fact, the Ni family also had a gas stove, but Yang felt that the food cooked on the gas stove wasn't as aromatic as that cooked on the earthen stove, so the Ni family always used the earthen stove. Yang didn't refuse her offer, smiling and saying, Sister Jiaojiao, then you can help me watch the fire. I've already started it. Just add some wood if it looks like it's dying down. Sure thing, Du Jiaojiao declared, patting her chest. Leave it to me. Grandma Shangguan and Grandma Zheng were washing vegetables outside, everyone working well together, and soon the kitchen filled with enticing aromas. Yang, are we going to have roasted chicken for lunch? Your grandfather caught a wild chicken outside. It's still alive. And Cuehua walked in, carrying a wild chicken. And Yang had just finished stir-frying a dish. Yes, definitely. Wild roasted chicken is the most fragrant. Du Jiaojiao asked curiously, Roasted chicken? Pretty lady, do you have an oven in your house? And Yang replied with a smile. No oven, but we have a natural oven. A natural oven? What's that? Du Jiaojiao asked. And Yang kept it a secret. You'll see in a bit. And Cuehua passed the wild chicken to Yang. Then I'll go light the fire in the bread oven. Okay. And Yang took the chicken with one hand and the kitchen knife with the other, following Cuehua towards the yard. Du Jiaojiao followed Yang's footsteps. She had never seen a chicken being killed before. The bird was a male wild chicken with shiny feathers, almost as splendid as a little phoenix, extremely beautiful. Yang's hand moved, and the knife fell, fresh blood dripping from the chicken's neck into a bowl of salt water. Du Jiaojiao gave a thumbs up. Pretty lady, your way of killing chickens is impressive. She had thought Yang wouldn't dare to kill a chicken. After all, it was a bloody scene indeed. Yang said with a smile. It's just a chicken, no big deal. Grandpa Du and Wang Ziki were playing chess at a stone table, multitasking. And when they heard her, Grandpa Du's lips curved slightly. Killing a chicken for Yang was indeed a small matter. After all, the person dared to swallow snake gall. Wang Ziki, a bit crude, didn't really know how to play Go, and in less than 2 games, he was utterly defeated. Seeing Wu Yanyan approaching, he was like a man seeing rescue, waving at Wu Yanyan. Yanyan! Yanyan, come here a moment. Are you calling me? Wu Yanyan pointed at herself. Aha! Wang Ziki nodded. Wu Yanyan trotted over. Big brother Wang, you needed me? Wang Ziki stood up from the stone bench. Yanyan, why don't you play chess with Grandpa Du? I've lost quite a few games already. After saying this, Wang Ziki added, Do you know how to play Go? A little. Wu Yanyan nodded. Then take over. Wu Yanyan nodded again, and leaned in to sit across from Grandpa. Du Wang Ziki truly didn't know how to play the game. He had made a mess of the chessboard, to the point where not even a professional player could turn it around. And Wu Yanyan's brow furrowed slightly. This game, without doubt, Wu Yanyan lost. The second game, Wu Yanyan lost again. Honestly, Wu Yanyan's skill in chess was not bad, but the person sitting across from her was Grandpa Du, who was like a war-hardened Azura, capable of killing without a trace. Before Wu Yanyan could respond, she was already sinking deep into the mire. Wu Yanyan racked her brains, but she couldn't turn the tables even once. Not everyone was Enai Yang. Not everyone had Enai Yang's skills in chess. After several games, a bored look appeared in Grandpa Du's eyes. He picked up the Buddha beads on his right and stood up. Ziki, you take over. Oh, Wang Ziki sat down again. Only this time his opponent was Wu Yanyan. Wu Yanyan glanced at Grandpa Du. A flicker of unease in her eyes. Was it because Grandpa Du thought she was too dumb? But her chess skills were quite good among her peers. She had even won a school Go competition before. Distracted by her thoughts, this round she somehow let Wang Ziki, the complete amateur, win. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Do you want another slap? Underfor 2. Enai Yang and Du Jiaojiao, holding the processed pheasants, came to the front of the bread oven and began to roast the chicken. Du Jiaojiao said, "Big beauty, so this is the natural oven you were talking about?" Enai Yang nodded. Du Jiaojiao stroked her chin. "I seem to have seen this abroad." While taking out the charcoal from the bread oven, Enai Yang stuffed the pheasant inside. This was indeed passed down from abroad. Although it's not as convenient as a modern oven, it's much more useful because it uses applewood for the fire, so the food it roasts is much tastier than what you'd get from an oven. Du Jiaojiao nodded, nonchalantly touched the charcoal with her hand, and pointed to the other side. "Big beauty, what is that over there?" "Ichem? What?" Enai Yang turned to look. Du Jiaojiao swiftly smeared her hand on Enai Yang's face, leaving a black mark on that clear and handsome face, the contrast of white and black giving off a somewhat cunning appearance. "Wow, big beauty, your skin is so white and tender." Du Jiaojiao instantly turned into a drama queen. Unsuspecting, Enai Yang smiled, touching her face and spreading the black mark wider. "Really?" Du Jiaojiao held back laughter. Really? Your skin is as smooth as cream and so pretty." Enai Yang felt something odd about Du Jiaojiao but couldn't quite put her finger on it. She reached out and pinched Du Jiaojiao's face. "Sister Jiaojiao, tell me, did you just play a trick on me?" "No, I really didn't." Du Jiaojiao earnestly denied. "Do I look like the kind who would play tricks on people?" From a distance, Du was watching them with a gentle smile on his face. Holding Buddha beads in his hand, he strolled over. "Do you have a study room in your house?" "Study room?" Enai Yang was momentarily stunned before replying. "Yes, we do. Let Duo take you there." No sooner had she finished speaking than Duo flew over from a nearby tree. Du followed Duo forward. Wu Yanyan lost interest in playing chess and ran to Enai Yang's side. Yang sis, I'm starting my senior year of high school. Can I borrow a set of review materials for the senior year?" "Of course." Enai Yang nodded. "I'll look for them this afternoon." Wu Yanyan smiled and said, "No need. I can go to the study room and find them myself." "All right, then go find them," Enai Yang continued. "Anyway, I won't be using those materials anymore. Take whatever you want. Oh, by the way, the senior year materials are all placed in the cabinet under the desk. Just look in the cabinet." "Got it," Wu Yanyan nodded. Enai Yang's study room was set up in a well-lit room on the second floor, with a creeper plant and some succulents on the balcony. Everything clean and bright. The room was simply furnished with 4 rows of bookshelves, a desk, and a chair, with only a faint scent of ink and paper in the air. A book lay upside down on the desk with a pale red cover reflecting the English letters, Humboldt's Gift. This was Humboldt's Gift, a famous book from M country. To the left of the desk, there remained an unfinished cup of coffee. Those with a keen sense of smell could still detect a faint aroma of coffee, as if through these things they could envision the study's owner leisurely sipping coffee and reading books into the quiet of the night, their nearly transparent fingertips brushing over the pages, with nothing but the soft sounds of pages turning in the air. Du picked up Humboldt's Gift, and found it was all in English, without a single Chinese character, which made him raise his eyebrows in surprise. It seemed the person was much more than what he understood. Calm and collected, Du Yi strolled through the bookshelves. The books on the shelves were clearly categorized. One row for foreign classics, one for domestic classics, one for historical and biographical works, and another for collections of dramas. The transition from classic literature to drama revealed that the study's owner had a wide range of interests. Just then, footsteps sounded outside the study room. Was this person not trusting him? Du Yi glanced back slightly and unexpectedly. The person who came wasn't an Ai Yang but Wu Yanyan. Mr. Du Yi gave a slight nod, subtly withdrew his gaze, and continued to select books. Wu Yanyan didn't speak further. She went to the desk and squatted down to look for her senior year review materials. After a little while, Du Yi pulled out a copy of Diamond Sutra from the shelf and then walked out. As the footsteps grew distant, Wu Yanyan let out a soft sigh, sat on the floor, and stared out the window lost in thought. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Do you want another slap? _3. Actually, she wasn't here for review materials at all. She didn't even know what was wrong with herself. After seeing Du Jiaojiao again, she couldn't help but want to be near him. Even if they didn't speak, just watching him filled her heart with satisfaction. If he spoke to her or even just nodded, she would get so excited, inexplicably happy. Happier than if she'd won first place in her grade. How strange. Wu Yanyan covered her face with her hands, took a deep breath, stood up, and casually picked up a book of ancient poetry from the shelf. She flipped a page and, with a quick glance, she thought she saw this line. The hill has wood, the wood has branches. My heart delights in you, but you do not know. Wu Yanyan slapped her own face hard. God, what was she thinking about? She couldn't go on like this. Du Jiaojiao was not someone she could even dare to think about. But the more she tried not to think about him, his face kept appearing before her eyes. With that thought, Wu Yanyan tiptoed and peered out the window into the courtyard. She saw Du Jiaojiao sitting under the osmanthus tree reading a book. He was wearing a robe, his legs crossed casually, a posture that seemed effortless yet had a fatally attractive pull. A gentleman's grace is like fine carving and polishing. Thump thump thump. Wu Yanyan clearly felt her heart beating stronger and stronger, her cheeks burning. She quickly shifted her gaze and crouched down to continue searching for review materials. Not caring whether the materials were useful or not, Wu Yanyan grabbed a stack and headed downstairs. After lunch, Du Jiaojiao hadn't forgotten about the rose field and pulled an Ai Yang with her to take pictures in the rose field. Yanyan, do you want to join us? You could take photos of us. Du Jiaojiao looked at Wu Yanyan. Wu Yanyan glanced at Du Jiaojiao from the corner of her eye. I'm feeling a bit sleepy, so I won't go. You and Sister Yang Yang go ahead. Okay then. Du Jiaojiao turned to Wang Ziki. Ziki, do you want to come with us? Wang Ziki scratched his head. Sorry, second miss. I need to deliver some fertilizer to Grandpa Zhang in the eastern part of the village soon. Grandpa Zhang was now so absorbed in clearing new land that he spent at least 6 or 7 hours a day in the fields. Since coming to Jinghua village, his complexion had darkened several shades. Du Jiaojiao said worriedly. What should I do then? If no one goes, who will take photos for me? And Ai Yang smiled and said, Don't worry, Sister Jiaojiao, I can take them for you. Du Jiaojiao responded. But I wanted to take pictures with you too. And Ai Yang continued. For joint photos, it's simple, we can set the camera to automatic shooting mode. Selfies won't look as good as photos taken by someone. Du Jiaojiao sounded slightly disappointed. I'll go with you. Du Jiaojiao put down the Diamond Sutra he had in his hands and walked over. Du Jiaojiao's eyes lit up, thinking she had heard wrong. Really? Du Jiaojiao nodded slightly. Great. Du Jiaojiao hooked her arm into Du Jiaojiao's. Let's go quickly then. And Ai Yang followed behind them, and the three walked toward the rose field together. After a few steps, and Ai Yang looked back at Wu Yanyan. The rose field ahead is really beautiful. Are you sure you don't want to see it? No. Wu Yanyan shook her head. She hadn't expected things to suddenly turn out this way. She wanted to go with them too, but she had spoken too hastily. If she changed her mind now, wouldn't it be too obvious? Wu Yinyan insisted on not going, so En-Ai-Yang didn't press further. The trio quickly reached the rose field. En-Ai-Yang, holding the camera, said, "Big brother Du, sister Jiao Jiao, shall I take a picture of both of you together?" "Sure." Du Jiaojiao exclaimed excitedly, still hooked on Du Jiaojiao's arm, and struck a pose. En-Ai-Yang took quite a few shots. Du Jiaojiao, like a tireless character from a story, kept changing poses and even picked a large bunch of roses. After a while, Du Jiaojiao was finally satisfied and passed the camera to Du Jiaojiao. "Now it's your turn to take a joint photo of us." Du Jiaojiao nodded slightly. Du Jiaojiao then pulled En-Ai-Yang in for more pictures. After a while, Du Jiaojiao set the camera to automatic shooting mode and said, "This sort of opportunity is rare, so let's take a joint photo of the three of us." She didn't wait for Du Jiaojiao to agree. She fixed the camera in place, pulled En-Ai-Yang, and hurried to Du Jiaojiao's side. "Hurry, I only set it for 70 seconds. With a click, the camera captured the moment forever. By the time they returned from taking photos, it was already after 1 in the afternoon. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Do you want another slap? _4. Du Yi and Jiao Jiao didn't stay long, merely greeting the En-Ai family elders before leaving. After they left, Wu Yinyan found En-Ai-Yang, Yang sister. "What's up?" En-Ai-Yang glanced back slightly. Wu Yinyan hesitated. I'm just curious, what's that Mr. Du's name? How do you know him?" En-Ai-Yang didn't give it much thought. "His name is Du Chengfeng, and he's a good brother of brother Mo." "Oh, I see." Wu Yinyan nodded. "Chengfeng. So his name was Du Chengfeng. A name quite poetic, and fitting to his demeanor." Time flew by quickly, and soon it was time for En-Ai-Yang to report to Yihua University. Mo Qishan also returned just in time for the start of the term. On the day of school, Elder Zheng indeed intended to buy a truckload of firecrackers to fulfill a promise, but En-Ai-Yang stopped him. Buying a truckload of firecrackers would not only be a waste of money, but also pollute the environment. On the first day of school, Mo Qishan drove En-Ai-Yang to the campus. Since En-Ai-Yang was the national top scholar in sciences, Yihua University had even hung a banner over the campus gate. Yihua University's acquisition of the national top scholar in sciences had left other universities green with envy. Just yesterday, officials from other universities visited Jinghua Village, hoping to poach En-Ai-Yang. To show their appreciation for En-Ai-Yang, the university leaders personally stood at the gate to welcome her. "Hello principal, hello teachers." En-Ai-Yang walked up with Mo Qishan. "Hello En-Ai-Yang." The principal extended his hand to En-Ai-Yang and looked at Mo Qishan. "And this is?" En-Ai-Yang said, "This is my boyfriend Mo Qishan." "Boyfriend?" En-Ai-Yang had a boyfriend? The top scholar in sciences had a boyfriend. Shock was evident in the eyes of the principal and other university leaders. In their eyes, good students should be busy studying, not falling in love. Well, as long as her academic performance is good, nothing else would be surprising. After all, this was university, and having a relationship was hardly a big deal. Mo Qishan was also stunned. Being acknowledged as her boyfriend felt amazing. He had even been prepared to be referred to as En-Ai-Yang's brother. He didn't expect to be publicly acknowledged. By the time they reached the girls' dormitory building, Mo Qishan was still dazed. "Brother Mo, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell?" En-Ai-Yang tugged at Mo Qishan's sleeve. "It's nothing." Mo Qishan clasped En-Ai-Yang's hand tightly. "I'm just too happy." "Happy? Happy about what?" En-Ai-Yang slightly raised an eyebrow. This man was so strange. Just at the beginning of the term, with students bustling around the entrance of the girls' dormitory, Mo Qishan, already tall and wearing a crisp suit, stood out with his sharp features and an imperial aura, intimidating yet imposing, clearly a high-ranking elite, making him far more appealing than any college boy. As girls passing by couldn't help but stare. "He's so handsome. If he were my boyfriend, I'd probably wake up laughing from my dreams. Get real, look at who's standing next to him. That's our university's national top scorer." truly a match of equals in looks and talent. Anai Yang's room was on the third floor. Mo Qishan carried the suitcase on one shoulder and held Anai Yang's hand as they went upstairs. The dormitory was a standard room for 6, with beds above and space for desks and other stuff below. At that moment, there wasn't anyone else in the room. The bed by the window on the left was already taken, and there were belongings underneath, likely from a student who had arrived earlier because of the distance. Yang, which bed do you want? This one. Anai Yang pointed at the first bed by the window on the right. Okay. Mo Qishan nodded and began to make the bed. Despite never doing housework at home, Mo Qishan was adept at making beds. In no time, he had finished making the bed without Anai Yang even getting a chance to help. Truly a boyfriend attentive as one could be. Anai Yang placed a vase she brought from home on the desk, then inserted fresh roses into it. After setting up the dorm, and seeing that the other 5 roommates hadn't shown up yet, Anai Yang and Mo Qishan headed off campus to grab a bite. The 80s also had military training. The training lasted for a month, meaning, after today, Mo Qishan wouldn't see Anai Yang for a month. After dinner, Mo Qishan and Anai Yang went to watch a movie, and it wasn't until after 6 p.m. that Anai Yang returned to the dormitory. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Do you want another slap? _5. At that time, 2 people had already arrived in the dorm. One was called Li Huilan and the other was called Zhang Qiuying. Anai Yang took out the gifts she had prepared in advance and distributed them to the 2. Because it was their first meeting and she didn't want to burden her roommates psychologically, Anai Yang had not prepared anything too expensive. The gifts were a box of delicate pastries. Thank you, Anai Yang. Li Huilan and Zhang Qiuying smiled and thanked her. Actually, Li Huilan and Zhang Qiuying had known that a top national scholar would be coming to the dorm, but what they hadn't expected was that this scholar would be so warm-hearted, which was not at all what they had imagined. No problem. By the way, Anai Yang, I also have something for you. Li Huilan took out a handful of red dates from her bag. These are specialty products from my hometown, and I've already cleaned them. Don't despise them. Li Huilan came from a rural area and was dressed very simply, her Mandarin tinged with a local accent. Anai Yang took the red dates with both hands, smiling. Red dates are great. Not only do they enrich the blood and improve qi, they also beautify the skin. I love eating red dates. Upon finishing speaking, Anai Yang tasted a red date. How does it taste? Li Huilan asked. Very sweet. Anai Yang nodded. Thank you, Huilan. You're welcome. Seeing the new roommate liked her gift, Li Huilan felt relieved. Li Huilan was the only college student from her village. On the day she left for Beijing, all the villagers, old and young, had come out to see her off at the edge of the village. On the way there, she was full of confidence, but after arriving in Beijing, she realized how insignificant she was, especially at Yihua University where everyone had high scores. Her score of 620 was nothing special here. Adding to that, the meeting gifts from Anai Yang and Zhang Qiuying were quite expensive, which made Li Huilan feel somewhat inferior and embarrassed about her red dates. Unexpectedly, neither Anai Yang nor Zhang Qiuying despised her. Zhang Qiuying also took out a gift and handed it to Anai Yang. Zhang Qiuying came from Yinjiao. Her family conditions were excellent, often traveling abroad, so the gift she gave was a silk scarf with Chanel letters on it. It was a famous luxury brand in the future. Anai Yang smiled and thanked her. After a while, the remaining 3 roommates also arrived. These 3 roommates were called Wang Lisha, Li Muzi, and Zhou Ling. Anai Yang passed the pastries to the 3 of them. Li Muzi and Zhou Ling happily accepted. Wang Lisha refused. Sorry, I have a toothache and can't eat sweets. You keep it for yourself. Anai Yang was never one to chase after those indifferent, and seeing Wang Lisha was somewhat difficult to get along with, she took back the pastry. Anyway, she wasn't planning to stay long in the dormitory. Regarding this issue, she had already discussed it with the principal before coming to Yihua University. She had attended college in her previous life and now also had a business to look after. Naturally, she wouldn't waste time at school. Attending examinations on time was enough, though she still had to participate in military training to avoid being criticized for seeking special treatment. Wang Lisha, these red dates are a special product from our place. Would you like to try some? Don't worry, I've cleaned them. Li Huilan offered the red dates to Wang Lisha. Wang Lisha glanced at Li Huilan. Could you please straighten your tongue and talk to me properly? After saying this, Wang Lisha also muttered under her breath, Country bumpkin. Li Huilan's face turned red, her hand stiff with embarrassment while still holding the red dates. Zhang Qiuying had a hot temper and immediately retorted. Huilan, these are great red dates, money can't even buy them. Why waste them on a dog? Who are you calling a dog? Wang Lisha's face reddened in anger. Zhang Qiuying smiled. Whoever bites senselessly is the dog. No manners. Wang Lisha was so angry her chest heaved. Zhang Qiuying, linking arms with Li Huilan, said, Let's go, Huilan. Let's eat our dates and not stoop to a dog's level. You. Say that again. Wang Lisha charged up to them. Zhang Qiuying was not one to shy away from conflicts. Why not say it again? Some people seem decent, but they're worse than dogs. Wang Lisha was furious. Back home, she had always been the precious daughter, pampered by her parents. At school, she was the top student, adored by teachers and students alike. She didn't expect to face such humiliation on her first day in Beijing. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Do you want another slap? _6. Wang Lisha's blood pressure shot up to 180, and she raised her hand to slap Zhang Qiuying across the face. At that moment, a fair hand gently gripped her wrist. Looking up, Wang Lisha saw the face of the national top scorer. She knew Enai Yang all too well. It was Enai Yang who had shattered her myth. Had it not been for Enai Yang, she would have been the highest female scorer in the National University entrance exam. Enai Yang's emergence let her parents and classmates realize that there were even more outstanding female students in the world than her. Let go of me. Enai Yang held Wang Lisha's wrist firmly, looking down at her with a calm yet resonant voice. Wang Lisha, this is Yihua University, not your home. You need to watch your words and actions, and consider the consequences. Have you thought about the consequences of slapping her? According to the rules of Yihua University, assaulting or insulting a fellow student not only leads to a major demerit, but also to severe cases, expulsion. During the 80s, unlike future decades, university rules were strict, focusing on unity and friendly relations among students. Hearing this, Wang Lisha's brow twitched. She indeed had been a bit impulsive. From the perspective of Zhang Qiuying and Li Huilan, Enai Yang looked incredibly cool in that posture. She sounded just like an elder reprimanding a disobedient younger relative. Oh, the national top scorer was really something. So imposing. And so, the conflict was resolved by Enai Yang. The next day marked the start of a 1-month military training. Military training in the 80s was different from later years. There weren't any camouflage uniforms back then, so everyone wore their own clothes, though they tried to keep a uniform color. The content of the military training was also different from later times, including necessary military postures, appearance, discipline, and bearing, but also training in digging trenches, bomb shelters, outdoor cooking, live ammunition firing, grenade throwing practice, and battlefield first aid, which weren't part of later military training. After a month, many students had become tanner and thinner, showing signs of exhaustion. But Enai Yang showed no changes, remaining fair as snow, elegant in demeanor, as if the grueling month hadn't left any mark on her. Zhang Qiuying exclaimed enviously, Yang, your skin is just too good. You're still not tanned at all. Enai Yang smiled and replied, maybe it's because I choose good skincare products. She never forgot to promote Ice Skin Jade Beauty wherever she went. What brand of skincare products are you using? Zhang Qiuying was straightforward and hadn't noticed what Enai Yang was using. Hearing this, Wang Lisha, who had been about to leave, suddenly slowed her steps, listening intently to Enai Yang's response. Even though she didn't like Enai Yang much, what girl doesn't want to be beautiful? After a month of military training, her face had turned as dark as charcoal, and she feared even her parents wouldn't recognize her when she returned. Noticing Wang Lisha's subtle reaction, Yang continued, I use Ice Skin Jade Beauty. Their whitening moisturizer is really good. Really? Asked Zhang Qiuying. Yang nodded then added, but Ice Skin Jade Bowtie's whitening moisturizer is a limited product and usually hard to get. If you like it, I can bring some for you. Oh yes, please do, Yang. And how much is it? Zhang Qiuying eagerly nodded. Wang Lisha's lips curled into a sneer, her smile full of mockery. Hard to get? There was nothing in the world she couldn't buy. What was Yang acting so grandiose about? Did she actually think she was awesome just because she was the national top scorer? Wang Lisha really despised those who, proud and arrogant from their achievements, thought the world couldn't go on without them. How hilarious. A month of military training ended, and the temperature in Beijing had dropped a lot too. Overnight, the temperature plummeted, and the streets were covered in a layer of frost. Yang had forgotten to prepare her coat, but luckily, she was tough enough to withstand the cold. Just as she walked out of the school gate, she saw Mo Qixin leaning against the car door. Yang walked around from behind and quietly covered Mo Qixin's eyes, deliberately changing her tone. Guess who I am? Mo Qixin turned around and pulled her into his arms, wrapping her with his coat. His coat was very large and wide, carrying a burning warmth. It could wrap at least more than two Yangs. Why are you wearing so little? Mo Qixin's tone was deep. I forgot to take my coat. Yang stretched her arms around his waist, her icy hands contrasting starkly with the warmth of his body. Mo Qixin reproached himself. It's my fault. I should have checked more carefully. Shortly after, both of them sat inside the car. Brother Mo, how did you know it was me just now? Yang's imitated voice was incredibly accurate, indiscernible to most. Mo Qixin said seriously, because you are my wife. If I couldn't even recognize my own wife, would I still deserve to be your man? Tsk. Yang poked his face. Mr. Mo, is your face still there? As long as my wife is still here, that's enough. Then Mo Qixin added, right, Sister Xiaoxi is bringing her boyfriend home tonight. We should head back early. Though Mo Qixin was several years older than Shang Guanxi, calling her sister came so naturally to him. Hearing this, Yang expressed her surprise. Sister Xiaoxi has a boyfriend? When did this happen? How come I didn't know? Shang Guanxi was a person of calm temperament. She would absolutely not bring a boyfriend home until everything was finalized. Mo Qixin slightly parted his lips, smiling. I'm not very clear on the details. Then you should drive faster. Maybe Sister Xiaoxi and her boyfriend are already home, Yang urged. Just give me a kiss and I'll speed up. Mo Qixin, hands on the steering wheel, fixed his gaze ahead, his chiseled features seeming frosted over, truly appearing noble and aloof, yet his words were so playful. Who would believe that the mysterious Mr. Mog had such a side if they hadn't seen it themselves? Yang leaned over and kissed his cheek. Who knew Mo Qixin would push his luck? One kiss isn't enough, give me another. Yang indulged his small wish and kissed him again. With her soft lips pressed against his face, Mo Qixin's vanity swelled to its peak, proud of how well he had trained his wife to be so obedient. Which man could match his skills? He was truly incredible. Mo Qixin with a triumphant look. Still not enough. One more. Yang with a smile. Do you want me to slap you instead? Mo Qixin's brow twitched, and he immediately sped up, showing his cowardice. Wife, I was wrong. The car sped swiftly, and in about half an hour, they arrived at the Ni family's courtyard. When Mo Qixin and Yang got home, Shang Guanxi and the others hadn't returned yet, but the living room was already full of people. Shang Guanfeng, Shang Guansu, and Su Lian had all come. After all, it was the first time Shang Guanxi was bringing a boyfriend home, and they needed to check him out. After all, this was a significant event in life. Curious, Yang asked Grandma Shangguan, Grandma, who is Sister Xiaoxi's boyfriend? Do you know? Grandma Shangguan shook her head. The child just said she would bring her boyfriend home today, but she wouldn't say who. Don't worry, Yang, I reckon they should arrive soon. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Astonishing results. Shangguan, she talked about having a boyfriend, and it really whet everyone's appetite. After a while, Shangguan, she finally appeared with her boyfriend in front of everyone. The young man looked spirited, and was carrying both big and small packages in his hands. Anide Suehua stood up to take the items from him and smiled. You didn't have to bring anything. Shangguan, she said. I told him not to buy anything, but he insisted. By the way, Zueling, this is my mom. Zueling politely said, Hello, Auntie. Upon hearing this, Anide Kuihua's smile froze for a moment, then she quickly returned to normal. Hello. Shangguan, she continued to introduce. This is my grandma, this is my maternal grandfather and grandmother, this is my dad, this is my aunt, this is my elder brother Shangguan Su, this is my younger sister Yang Yang, this is my sister's boyfriend Mo Qishan, and this is my younger sister Yunyin. Zueling greeted everyone one by one. Hello everyone, I'm Zueling, the Zua from left and Ling from ridge. Zueling. When this name was clearly heard, not only did Anide Kuihua's face change slightly, but also the expressions of elder Madame Shangguan, Shangguan Dehui, and Shangguan Su. Who was Zueling? Zueling was the young man with 7 older sisters. But the Shangguan family members were quite dignified and, despite having opinions, did not show it. Elder Madame Shangguan took a sip of water, feeling quite uneasy. She had not expected Shangguan she to bring Zueling back. Hadn't they broken up already? Please have a seat. Anide Suehua called Zueling to sit down. Su Lian, unaware of the situation, was quite satisfied with Zueling's appearance. How old are you this year, Xiaozhua? Zueling politely said. Aunt, I'm 23 this year, and I was classmates with Xiaoxi. Su Lian nodded. I see, so you have started working as well? Zueling replied. Yes, Aunt, I have been working for over a year now. I'm currently the workshop director at Morning Light Group, earning a monthly salary of 130 yuan. Having a decent job and being in a director position was Zueling's greatest pride. Among over 50 classmates, Zueling currently had the highest salary and the most prestigious position. Thus, he had the capital to feel proud, and he could sense that the Shangguan family members had a very favorable impression of him. Su Lian smiled and said, Very good, very good. Being only 23 years old and capable of handling the job of a workshop director was indeed commendable. Su Lian wasn't someone who cared too much about matching social status. She just wanted Shangguan she to be happy. Shangguan Furong joined in the conversation with a smile. Xiaozhua, where are you from? I'm from Beijing, Zueling continued. I live right in the city center on Gillett Road. My parents are getting older, and I set aside 30 yuan from my salary every month to hire a nanny for them. Shangguan Furong nodded. You are a good child with filial piety. After chit-chatting for a while, it was time to eat. In the kitchen, Mrs. Zheng quietly tugged at elder Madame Shangguan's sleeve and whispered, That young man Zueling seems quite nice. Why do you look a bit unhappy? Zueling had thick eyebrows and large eyes, very energetic, and he was also distinctive looking, which was why he had caught Shangguan's eye. Elder Madame Shangguan sighed, glancing towards the door. Do you know who this Zueling is? Who? Mrs. Zheng was baffled. Elder Madame Shangguan continued. He's Xiaoxi's ex-boyfriend, the one with 7 older sisters. What? Mrs. Zheng looked surprised. I thought they broke up? Why did she bring him back home? Elder Madame Shangguan frowned slightly. Who knows what Xiaoxi is thinking? Seeing Zueling about to come into the kitchen to fetch dishes, Elder Madame Shangguan quickly added, We'll talk later. It's not good to let others overhear. All right, Mrs. Zheng nodded. Mo Qishan was followed into the kitchen by Zueling brother. Zueling tried to pat Mo Qishan on the shoulder, but withdrew halfway because there was a significant height difference between them. Mo Qishan was nearly 1.9 meters tall, and he was just a bit taller than Shangguan Shi at 1.75 meters. Zueling jogged to keep up with Mo Qishan's pace and whispered, I heard you've been dating Xiaoxi's younger sister for over a year. Is that right? Yes, Mo Qishan nodded slightly. That's correct. Based on Shangguan Zai's introduction, Mo Qishan currently did not have an official job, but whenever Zueling saw Mo Qishan, he felt a wave of inexplicable inferiority and fear, constantly feeling less excellent than Mo Qishan. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Astonishing results _2. Aside from not being as good-looking as Emochishin, he had a higher education, better job, higher salary, and his family's conditions weren't bad either. What was there to feel inferior about? What was there to fear? Was it all just an illusion? Bro, I heard you don't have a formal job yet. How about I introduce you to work at our company? We are currently short of 2 general workers, and the salary and benefits are especially good. Although our company recruits based on academic credentials, with me around, you don't have to worry. The HR department will definitely consider my recommendation, and they'll have them arrange a more relaxed job for you. It was Zwilling's first time visiting, so naturally he wanted to establish a good relationship. In this family, only he and Emochishin were outsiders. Therefore, the first person he wanted to win over was Emochishin. Emochishin didn't have formal employment, and if Zwilling threw him an olive branch, Emochishin would surely grasp it tightly. Then in the company, he would be Emochishin's supervisor, and Emochishin would be at his beck and call. Thanks for the offer, but no need. Emochishin politely declined. Zwilling didn't expect Emochishin to actually turn him down, thinking to himself that this guy really aimed high. He had no notable education, yet he looked down on being a general worker. How did such a pretty future sister-in-law fall for someone like him? He himself was in such good standing but didn't have such romantic luck. Really strange. Zwilling encouraged Emochishin. Bro, don't look at me now as the workshop supervisor. I also started from being a general worker, and worked my way up step by step. As long as you're willing to put in the effort, I believe that one day you too can become a workshop supervisor, or even a higher-ranking leader. Who could get fat on one breath? Emochishin politely smiled. Since Emochishin didn't continue the conversation, Zwilling couldn't say much more, and the two entered the kitchen. Granny, you've worked hard. Emochishin wasn't prone to jests in front of outsiders, but he was a sweet talker with his family, and with just a few words, he made both Grandma Shangguan and Granny Zheng very happy. Seeing this, Zwilling frowned subtly. He was somewhat displeased with Emochishin's behavior. Wasn't a man supposed to be manly? What was this smooth talking all about? Aunt Six, no need for you to serve the dishes. You can go and rest with Xiaozhua, said Grandma Shangguan. Just as Zwilling was about to respond, pleased with Grandma Shangguan's suggestion, he heard Emochishin say, It's okay, Granny. Well, do it. So, Zwilling had no choice but to join Emochishin in serving the dishes. Dinner was lavish. Although the Shangguans lived in the countryside, the meal was better than what his family usually had, which surprised Zwilling. It seemed the Shangguan family had prepared this especially to welcome him. During the meal, Zwilling occasionally offered food to Shangguanshi. The two had been together for over 3 years, and Zwilling was very familiar with Shangguan Zai's tastes. Su Lian and Shangguan Furong noticed this detail, and showed satisfaction in their eyes. After dinner and a little more sitting, Shangguanshi walked Zwilling back. Just stepping out the door, Zwilling noticed a small sedan parked at the doorstep and asked in surprise, Xiaoxi, whose car is that? Shangguanshi nonchalantly said, I think it's from the television station. Because Shangguan Dehui had previously instructed her, during her school days, Shangguanshi had deliberately concealed her family background. No one knew she came from a wealthy household, not even Zwilling, the television station. Zwilling was puzzled. Shangguanshi continued, Didn't my sister top the high school exams this year? That car belongs to a journalist who came to interview her, but something broke and it can't start, so it's been parked here. In a few days, the station will send someone to tow it away. High school exam top scorer. Zwilling was even more surprised. Your sister is the top scorer for the high school exams. Yes, nodded Shangguanshi. Then your sister really lacks judgment, having such a boyfriend as a high school exam top scorer, Zwilling said. Didn't she become foolish from reading too much? What of being a high school exam top scorer? After all, she chose a boyfriend with neither education nor a job. That showed high school exam top scorers were nothing special after all. Shangguanshi replied with a serious face. Don't talk nonsense. Yang is the smartest person in our family. Moreover, if my sister chose Mo Qishan, he must have something exceptional about him. And I also think Mo Qishan is much more than he seems. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Astonishing results _3. Alright, you'll stop talking, Zuoling said with a playful smile, hugging Shangguan's shoulders. A smart boyfriend would never argue with his girlfriend. He just needed to be clear in his heart. That's more like it, Shangguanxi responded. Okay, you should head back now. I'll see you at work tomorrow. Zuoling hopped onto his bicycle. Then I'll be going first. Shangguanxi watched as Zuoling's figure disappeared into the night, then turned and walked into the house. Grandma, Grandpa, Grandma, Mom and Dad, little aunt, great aunt, what did you think of my boyfriend at first impression? Not very good. The old Mrs. Shangguan put down her chopsticks. Xiaoxi, didn't you say you broke up with Zuoling? Hearing the news of her breakup with Zuoling had been a relief for old Mrs. Shangguan. However, Shangguanxi brought him back in no time. We did break up before, but Zuoling kept begging me, so I just... She and Zuoling had been together for 3 years. It wasn't something that could simply be dropped. Plus, Zuoling himself didn't have any shortcomings, and they were each other's first love. Old Mrs. Shangguan continued. I think you two should end it sooner rather than later. Mom, I think this young man Zuoling is quite good. Shangguan Furong joined in. Su Lian said. You don't like Zuoling? I also think Zuoling is quite good. Old Mrs. Shangguan sighed. Actually, I'm not the kind of person who cares about families being well matched, but your great aunt. Do you know what Zuoling's family situation is? Zuoling has 7 older sisters. His parents are almost as old as I am. She continued. Nowadays family planning is so strict. Workers can only have 1 child. What if Xiaoxi marries into their family, and the first child is a daughter? Would Zuoling's family let it go? The fact that Zuoling's mother had given birth to 8 children proved she was no gentle character. Ordinary women, who could give birth to 8. Hearing this, Su Lian's smile stiffened. Shangguan Furong's expression also changed as she turned to look at Shangguanxi. Xiaoxi, your grandma is right. You can't marry into such a family. It's hard to find a 2-legged frog in this world, but men with 2 legs are everywhere. With your qualifications, what kind of man can't you find? Why fixate on Zuoling? Su Lian nodded. Yes, Xiaoxi, I also think your little aunt is right. Su Fan had passed away early, raised by Su Lian because Shangguan Su and Shangguanxi couldn't find her. As an aunt, she didn't want Shangguanxi to marry into such a complicated family. Marriage and dating were not the same. Marriage faced many more practical issues. Shangguanxi indignantly said, Grandma, little aunt, great aunt, you are thinking too far. We aren't even married yet, and you're already thinking about children. Moreover, the person who had 8 children isn't Zuoling. Zuoling is just the child who was born. He didn't choose his birth. And just because his parents favor boys over girls doesn't mean Zuoling is the same way. Shangguanxi was a reasonable person. She felt it wasn't fair to impose the problems of Zuoling's parents on Zuoling. Not only do your grandma and they disagree, your mom and I disagree as well, Shangguan Dehui timely stated. Xiaoxi, you can date Zuoling, but you can't regard him as your marriage partner. Some people might be qualified boyfriends, but that didn't necessarily make them qualified marriage partners. Shangguan Dehui was a university professor after all. He saw things more clearly than most, and was much more forward-thinking. It was the 80s after all. Breakups and makeups were normal. Why? Shangguanxi frowned slightly. The great man once said, all dating that doesn't aim for marriage is hooliganism. Your thinking is wrong. How could one treat dating as child's play? Shangguan Dehui continued. I disagree, not just because of his family issues. This young man, Zuoling, is too impetuous, lacks stability, and his words reveal a self-satisfied tone. I think the two of you aren't suitable. For instance, just now, Su Lian only asked whether Zuoling had started working, but Zuoling went on to clearly state his position and monthly salary. Moreover, when Shangguan Furong asked where his family lived, he even mentioned hiring a nanny. Dad, you are too prejudiced against Zuoling. Shang Guanxi continued. I've known Zhueling for over 3 years. I know what kind of person he is. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Astonishing results _4. Sister Xiaoxi, don't get agitated. Actually, I think Dad makes a lot of sense, Shang Guanxu began. Zhueling really isn't suitable for you. Grandpa, Grandma, what do you think? Shang Guanxi looked towards Elder Zheng and Madame Zheng. Madame Zheng smiled and said, Sister Xiaoxi, your grandmother and I share the same view. When a girl gets married, she has to keep her eyes wide open. Besides, Zhueling's parents are also getting on in years. What if you really ended up with Zhueling? Who would look after your children? His parents even need a nanny to take care of themselves. I can hire another nanny, Shang Guanxi argued. Madame Zheng smiled and said, when the child is too young to speak, would you really be comfortable leaving them in someone else's care? Moreover, what if you have a daughter and your in-laws don't like her and secretly dispose of the child? What will you do then? That won't happen. She would be their own granddaughter. It will. And Ai Tsuehua stepped forward and said, you'll find all sorts of people in this world, especially people like Zhueling's parents who favor sons over daughters. It was then that Shang Guanxi realized that Ai Tsuehua had already lost 3 children. Mom is right. Ai Yang chimed in at the right moment. Sister Xiaoxi, medical research has proven that the sex of a baby is actually determined by the male side. Human sex chromosomes determine the gender, with males being XY and females XX. The cells produced by women all contain an X, while those produced by men could be X or Y. If both cells are X, then a girl is born. If the male contributes a Y, then a boy is born. At this point, Ai Yang paused, then continued, Zhueling's family has the genes for having daughters, so there's a 90% chance that your first child would be a girl. This means you should be prepared for the 90% likelihood of your child being discarded. Ai Yang was not one to mince words, so what she said always hit hard. Shang Guanxi hesitated for a moment, then said, Yang, do you believe this too? How can you be so certain that Zhueling's parents will definitely favor boys over girls? Maybe they just like having lots of children? After all, Shang Guanxi's experience was too limited to fully understand these things. You can tell just from her having given birth to 7 girls. Ai Yang continued, Sister Xiaoxi, medically speaking, pain is classified into 12 levels. The first level is the pain from a mosquito bite, and the 12th level is the pain of a mother during childbirth. Plus, giving birth is really harmful to the body. The best state for a woman is to give birth to 1 or 2 children, who would joke about their own health without some kind of strong belief. Ai Yang's words were so logical that they left no room for rebuttal. Shang Guanxi fell silent for a bit, then said, I feel that Zhueling is not that kind of person. I'm marrying Zhueling, not his parents. Even if his parents truly favor sons over daughters, it has nothing to do with us. Once a son is married off, could the parents still be trying to meddle? Ai Yang did not rush to contradict Shang Guanxi but said, Sister Xiaoxi, don't reveal our family's situation to Zhueling for now. Just observe him for a while longer, and see if his character is worthy of your lifetime commitment. If he truly is worthy, I believe our family will have no objections to you. With that, Ai Yang turned her eyes to Shang Guanxi. Sister Xiaoxi, Dad, Mom, Grandma, Grandpa, Aunt and your brothers object to this matter purely because they want you to have a better life. Hearing this, everyone nodded in agreement. Especially Su Lian, who now looked at Ai Yang differently. Previously, when Ai Tsuehua had just married Shang Guandehui, she had worried about whether Ai Yang and Shang Guanxi could get along well since the children were grown and had their own ideas. Now it seemed that her worries were unfounded. Although Ai Yang was a few years younger than Shang Guanxi, her maturity was far greater. The words she spoke were persuasive. As an elder, Su Lian found nothing to fault in what she said, and moreover, Ai Yang had Shang Guanxi's best interests at heart with every word. Yang, I didn't just meet Zhueling today. I know what kind of person he is, Shang Guanxi said firmly. Ai Yang smiled and responded, that remains to be seen. A fox's tail doesn't show itself in a day. True gold fears no fire. Sister Xiaoxi, If Zhuoling truly is a man worth entrusting your life to, then no matter how you observe him, you won't see any hint of a fox's tail. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Astonishing results _5. Su Lian nodded. I think Yang Yang is absolutely right. On the other side, Zhuoling rode his bicycle back home. Zhuo's father, unable to wait, asked, how did it go? Did Xiaoxi's parents have a good first impression of you? Do you even need to ask? Zhuo's mother, sitting on the sofa watching TV, scoffed. Our Lingling's credentials are so outstanding. You couldn't find a better son-in-law with a lantern. Could the Shangguan family possibly look down on us? Zhuo's parents were both retired factory workers, and they had been cadres at the factory, so their retirement benefits were extremely generous, with a pension of 300 yuan each month. Plus, owning 2 apartments in Beijing, life was particularly comfortable for them. Hearing this, Zhuo's father nodded in agreement. That's true. The mother continued. How are Xiaoxi's family conditions? Are they as good as your Uncle Chen's? Zhuoling shook his head. Uncle Chen is a city dweller, while Xiaoxi's family is from the countryside. There's no comparison. But Xiaoxi's family seems to be quite well off. I saw that they even have big appliances like a refrigerator and a washing machine. And their house is beautifully decorated. Refrigerators and washing machines together wouldn't cost less than a few thousand yuan. Could an ordinary family afford that? Don't even think about it. From the countryside? Zhuo's mother sat up in surprise. Xiaoxi is a rural person? Due to past experiences, Zhuo's mother got goosebumps at the mention of rural people. Their family was living so comfortably, they certainly didn't want to be visited by poor relatives looking for handouts every day. Xiaoxi is from Jinghua village, Zhuoling nodded. But you don't have to worry, Mom. Xiaoxi's relatives dress very decently, not like poor people, so you don't have to worry about people coming to our door asking for things. Zhuo's mother sighed. You, this child. How did you end up choosing a country person of all people? Mom, I love Xiaoxi, I really, really do. I hope you can agree to our relationship, Zhuoling continued. Mom, I promise you, Xiaoxi's family doesn't have that kind of poor relatives, and their conditions are really quite good. You see how long it's been since we've changed the carpet in our living room? The carpet in Xiaoxi's living room is not only brand new, but also woolen. Zhuoling's feelings for Shangguan were genuine. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had an on and off relationship. Zhuo's mother tapped Zhuoling on the forehead. You're just too naive. You might get cheated, and end up counting someone else's money for them. Of course, her family wouldn't let go of a catch like you so easily. Are you sure the place you went to tonight was even Xiaoxi's home? Perhaps Shangguan had planned it all along, and the place Zhuoling visited tonight wasn't her home at all. A rural person being able to afford a carpet. That's laughable. And didn't you say that Xiaoxi's mom isn't her birth mother, but a stepmother? Have you ever seen a stepmother who truly cares for her stepdaughter? If you really marry Xiaoxi, then you'll have troubles. That stepmother will steal a little today, a little tomorrow, and our family won't be able to live properly. Her son was only 23 years old, and already earning over 100,000 yuan a month. You probably couldn't find a few like him in the whole of Beijing. If Shangguan Zai's family was a bit better off, that would be one thing, but now knowing that Shangguan is just a country girl, she felt scornful, thinking that Shangguan was after their family's wealth. Of course, a country girl would be happy to marry into the city. Isn't that just like a sparrow turning into a phoenix? Not at all, Zhuoling shook his head. I think Xiaoxi's stepmother is quite nice, not like someone who would steal things. You've just visited them today for the first time, of course she'd put on an act. Once you're married, she will show her true colors. His mother continued. Lingling, listen to your mom. Xiaoxi is not worthy of you. I think the daughter of your Uncle Chen is quite good. Chen Liebao is Uncle Chen's only daughter. Eventually, the Chen family's fortune will be yours. Indeed, Chen Liebao's family's conditions were even better than Zhuo's. However, Chen Liebao looked like Zhu Beiji, not only with a big face and fat ears, but also exceedingly rude and noisy when eating, just like a pig. Compared to Shangguanxi, it was night and day. Zhuo Ling was at least a workshop director, and also quite handsome. How could he possibly marry someone like that? It would be an utter joke. Though Shangguanzai's family wasn't as well off, she was good-looking and also a university student. Plus, their relationship was a love match. He would have face when bringing her out. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Astonishing results _6. No, I just like Xiaoxi, Zhuo Ling asserted stubbornly. Zhuo's mother sighed. You used to be such an obedient child. What has changed now? I know you don't find Lai Bao attractive, but haven't you heard the saying, beauty is a source of trouble? Being beautiful is not necessarily a good thing. King Zhou of Shang lost his kingdom because of Daji. Tang Xuanzong faced the Ensure rebellion because of Yang Yuhuan, and King Yu of Zhou was overthrown because of Bao Si. The words of the ancients contain profound wisdom. The saying beauty is a source of trouble is not without basis. At this point, Zhuo's mother paused and continued. Actually, women are all the same when the lights go out. There's nothing more to them, nothing less. Whether one is beautiful or not is just about looks. And besides, Lingling, you are destined for great things in the future. You can't let your heart be taken by youthful love, and you certainly can't let Xiaoxi hold you back. What you're lacking is a wise and virtuous wife, not a fairy who is above the mundane world. Lai Bao, that child definitely looks like she's blessed with good fortune. Big head, big bottoms, surely someone who can bear sons. After you marry, you'll give me a fair and plump grandson. As she spoke, Zhuo's mother started to dream of a wonderful future. Her grandson, she gave birth to 8 children, all for the day she could hold her grandson in her arms. Zhuo Ling shook his head. No, Mom, please stop talking. Just the thought of having to sleep next to a pig in the future makes me so nauseous that I won't be able to eat breakfast tomorrow. You child, his mother chided. How can you speak like that? How has Lai Bao disgusted you? I think she's very nice. Your Uncle Chen said that if you're willing to marry Lai Bao, not only will our family not have to pay a penny for the dowry, but we'll also get 5,000 yuan as part of her dowry. Can Xiaoxi's family offer 5,000 yuan for a dowry? I bet they can't even come up with 50 yuan. That's 5,000 yuan. Where could you find such a favorable marriage offer? But Zhuo Ling sneered at the 5,000 yuan, knowing that one can't have the best of both worlds. Even if Chen Leibao's family offered 50,000 yuan for the dowry, there's absolutely no way I'd marry a pig. Having said this, Zhuo Ling turned and walked away. Zhuo's mother was so infuriated by Zhuo Ling that she was more convinced than ever that Shangguanxi was the reincarnation of the millennial fox spirit Su Daji. Let it be, Zhuo's father said. Just don't meddle with the child's affairs. Nowadays, people value love marriages, and arranged marriages by parents are out of fashion. When Zhuo's father was at work, he held a lower position than Zhuo's mother, so she had always been in charge, which meant that at home, Zhuo's mother had the final say. Moreover, Zhuo's mother didn't have any preference for sons over daughters. The reason she had 8 children was to prove her worth. Because a life without a son was considered incomplete. A daughter married off is like water splashed out. No matter how many daughters you have, they can't compare to having a son. Zhuo's mother continued. Our Lingling is too outstanding. Who knows how many girls out there have their eyes on him. I calculated everything but never expected Shangguanxi to be from the countryside. If I had known she was from the countryside, I would never have agreed to it when Lingling first brought it up. That girl is too scheming, hiding her rural background and deceiving us for so long. She should have mentioned her rural background early on. What is this, if not deceit? Our Lingling is a dragon roaming the heavens, and she is just a sparrow. A sparrow that aspires to transform into a phoenix. It's too unsightly. Zhuo's father turned the page of the newspaper in his hand and replied, following his wife's thoughts. I also think Lai Bao is a decent child. The Chens are still young, and can at least provide support for them for over a decade. If our Lingling marries Lai Bao and they have a chubby baby boy, the good days are still ahead. Meanwhile, at the Enai family's home, Enai Cuehua and Shangguan Dehui were sitting on the bed, also talking about Shangguanxi. As a stepmother, there were some things Anai Tsuehua felt awkward to speak out directly. She could only convey her thoughts to Shangguan Dehui. Dehui, although Xiaoxi seems to have a mild temperament and doesn't usually show much temper, she actually has a rebellious streak deep inside. You have to talk to her about Zuoling properly, but also don't push her too hard. Beware of the extreme rebound effect. Even though Shangguan she wasn't born to Anai Tsuehua, through the days spent together, she had come to understand Shangguan Zai's nature very well. Shangguan Dehui nodded. I know, don't worry. Actually, Shangguan she was very much like the late Sufan. Sufan had known that Shangguan Dehui had someone else in his heart, but she had still married him disregarding everything. Shangguan she was also troubled, tossing and turning in bed, unable to sleep all night long. She couldn't figure it out. Zuoling's qualifications were so outstanding. Why couldn't her family see his worth? As a result, when Shangguan she got up the next morning, 2 dark circles had formed under her eyes. Sister Xiaoxi, didn't sleep well last night? Anai Yang greeted her at the dining table. Shangguan she nodded. Here, take this. Anai Yang fished a pink sugar pill from her pocket. What's this? Anai Yang said with a smile. It helps relieve fatigue and lighten dark circles. Hearing about the beneficial effects of the sugar pill, Shangguan she immediately took it and swallowed. Thank you, Yang Yang, otherwise I wouldn't have been presentable today. After a while, Anai Tsuehua came over with breakfast. At noon, Anai Yang received a phone call from the hospital. After hanging up, Anai Yang found Anai Tsuehua. Mom, I have something to tell you now. You need to be prepared emotionally. Is it about the paternity test? Anai Tsuehua asked. Yes. Anai Yang nodded. Mom, Yinyan is our second sister. Crash! The vase in Anai Kuihua's hand dropped to the floor, shattering, and with tears in her eyes she said, Really, is it true? It's true. Anai Yang hugged Anai Tsuehua. Mom, we've found our second sister. We've found her. We've found her. Anai Tsuehua cried tears of joy. Although they had found the person, Anai Tsuehua was still faced with a dilemma, whether to acknowledge her or not. Currently, without acknowledgement, they still had a kinship with the Wu family. If they burst this bubble, what if they couldn't even remain relatives? After all, the Wu family had raised Wu Yinyan for 17 years, from a helpless little baby to a graceful young lady. No one knew how much heart and soul the Wu parents had poured into her. If they were to acknowledge her now, would the Wu parents forgive them? Would Wu Yinyan forgive them? In the evening, everyone gathered to discuss this issue. The elderly Mr. Zheng and Mrs. Zheng said, We definitely must acknowledge her. No matter what, that child is our Zheng family's blood. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Complete outbreak. Shangguan Lady and Shangguan Dehui also suggested making the recognition. After all, they were talking about her own flesh and blood, and besides, Anai Tsuehua had not intended to abandon Wu Yinyan in the first place. Yang Yang, what do you think? Zheng Patriarch looked towards Anai Yang. Though young in age, Anai Yang was not lacking in experience, and her opinion was always sought in major family matters. Anai Yang said, Of course we need to recognize her, after all. Yinyan is also a member of our family. But this matter can't be rushed. It needs to be approached gradually. I'll first go and gauge Godfather's reaction to see what they say. Wu Yinyan may be of a gentle disposition, but that doesn't necessarily mean she could accept this. After all, there's a saying. Some pains are never understood until they happen to oneself. The person who was abandoned was Wu Yinyan, and the person who was almost sold was also Wu Yinyan. That core bitterness can only truly be understood by someone who has personally experienced it. Zheng Patriarch nodded. Yang Yang is right. Anai Yang continued. Let me handle this matter. You all wait at home for my news. With that, Anai Yang got up and walked outside. Yang Yang, where are you going? Anai Tsuehua stood up. Anai Yang glanced back slightly. I'm heading to the construction site. I'll go with you. Anai Kuihua's eyes reddened. No need for you to go. It's not appropriate for you to appear at a time like this. Shangguan Dehui held onto Anai Kuihua's wrist. From an outsider's perspective, After all, Enai Tsuehua is the mother, and with the daughter having been abandoned, the mother bears an undeniable responsibility. Enai Young nodded. That's right, I can go by myself. Enai Young didn't go empty-handed. She took a basket of pork lard cakes and 2 bottles of milk tea along. Right as she walked out, she saw Emo Chishan riding his bicycle toward her. Where are you off to, wife? Emo Chishan stopped his bike in front of Enai Young, propping one foot on the ground, his thin lips curved with a faint smile. The sunlight shone from behind him, brilliant and golden. Against the light, his face was somewhat obscured, and he appeared as if he had descended from the clouds. Emo brother. Enai Young promptly brought herself to a halt. Emo Chishan parked his bike at the entrance, taking the items from Enai Yang's hands. Where to? I'll accompany you. To the construction site. It was roughly a 10-minute walk from the Enai family, and on the way, Enai Yang informed Emo Chishan about Wu Yinyun. Emo brother, we found our second sister who was abandoned. It is Wu Yinyun, right? Emo Chishan's expression was calm, his tone very certain. In fact, he had long realized, Enai Yang was clear about her affections and grudges. She wouldn't be nice to someone without a reason. After all, there are many poor people in this world, and if one were to extend a helping hand to each one, who would have so much energy? Awesome. Enai Yang extended her thumb to Emo Chishan. That's right, Emo Chishan said with false arrogance. If I weren't so impressive, would I have a beautiful wife like you? Your skin is too thick. As she spoke, Enai Yang continued. I'm going to discuss this matter with Godfather now. What do you think his reaction will be? Emo Chishan squinted his eyes. Our Godfather is an honest person, and you've helped his family so much. Though he may be surprised, I think he surely won't make things difficult for you. If it weren't for Enai Yang, Wu Yinyun would now have been sold off to the Wu family, and the whole Wu family would not be able to live the life they have today. Enai Yang nodded. I think your analysis is very accurate. Before long, they arrived at the construction site. Over 1 month had passed, and the construction site had changed considerably. The brick walls were already 2 levels high. Enai Yang and Emo Chishan distributed the pork lard cakes and milk tea to everyone. In this freezing weather, biting into a soft pork lard cake followed by a sip of warm milk tea warmed the heart and stomach. A most exquisite comfort. The workers had been at the construction site for so long, and had never encountered such generous homeowners. Mo Chishan knew Enai Yang had something to say to Wu Jinshu, so he took some cigarettes and went to distribute them among the workers. Enai Yang, with food in hand, found Wu Jinshu. Yang, you really don't need to be so polite. We've already had our fill at lunch. With Enai Yang being so courteous, Wu Jinshu felt somewhat embarrassed. These days the Enai family nearly sent food over every afternoon, but sometimes it was Grandmother Zheng and Patriarch Zheng and Lady Shangguan who came. Enai Yang was busy and couldn't possibly come every day. Enai Yang smiled. Everyone's working hard, and the weather's so cold. Eating something is a good way to warm up. After speaking, Enai Yang added, Actually, Godfather, there's something else I need to talk to you about. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Total outbreak. _2. Hearing that Enai Yang had something to say, Wu Jinshu immediately put down his teacup, as he had never treated Enai Yang like a child. Yang, go ahead. Enai Yang continued. This is about Yinyun. Yinyun? Wu Jinshu asked anxiously. Yang, is that child causing you trouble? No, Enai Yang shook her head, getting straight to the point. Godfather, actually, Yinyun is my sister. Wu Jinshu smiled and said, Yinyun is already your sister, isn't she? Realizing Wu Jinshu might have misunderstood her, Enai Yang continued, Godfather, Yinyun is my full-blooded younger sister. What? Wu Jinshu was taken aback. Full-blooded younger sister? Wu Jinshu looked at Enai Yang and couldn't speak for a long while, not knowing what to say. Enai Yang then spoke of the past. Godfather, it's like this. When Enai Tsuehua gave birth to Wu Yinyun that year, Enai Yang was only 1 year old. She didn't know what exactly happened, but when Mrs. Mu abandoned her 3 younger sisters and little Enai Yun, Enai Yang already had memories. At that time, Anai Tsuehua simply had no ability to resist. If it weren't for the fact that the first child couldn't be abandoned, she too would not have escaped Mrs. Mu's clutches. Wu Yanyan had her own hardships, and Anai Tsuehua had hers. Wu Jinshi's eyebrows were deeply furrowed as he listened to Anai Yang. Were they intending to take Wu Yanyan back? The Anai family was wealthy. Their conditions were much better than his family's. If Wu Yanyan could be acknowledged by Anai Yang, she would be a young lady with a large fortune. And surely that would be better than staying with them. But Yanyan was, after all, the daughter they had raised with their own hands. He couldn't bear to let her go. He truly couldn't bear it. Anai Yang seemed to perceive Wu Jinshi's thoughts and went on. Godfather, rest assured, I'm not here to take Yanyan away. It wasn't easy for you and Godmother to raise Yanyan to this age. The grace of upbringing is greater than heaven. No matter what, you are Yanyan's parents. Anai Yang wasn't the kind of person without a conscience. The Wu family had raised Wu Yanyan for so long. It would not only be illogical to take her back now, but it would also be unfair to Wu Jinshu and Yan Erju. Including Anai Tsuehua, they had no intention of taking Wu Yanyan back. They just wanted to clarify things to Wu Yanyan, and use the rest of their lives to make it up to her, so that neither of them would have regrets in their lives. Then, Wu Jinshu started his mouth agape. If the Anai family didn't want to take Wu Yanyan back, then why had Anai Yang told him all this? Anai Yang continued, Godfather, if you don't mind, let Yanyan also acknowledge my parents as godparents. From now on, our two families will be even closer relatives. After much thought, this seemed like the most appropriate solution. Upon hearing this, Wu Jinshu breathed a sigh of relief. Yang, I can't decide this alone. I need to go back and discuss this with your godmother, and then see what Yanyan thinks. Yes, that's only proper. Anai Yang nodded, standing up and dusting herself off. I'll head back first, godfather. All right. Wu Jinshu stood to see Anai Yang off. Although Wu Jinshu wasn't well educated, he understood the ways of the world. The reason Anai Yang hadn't gone directly to Wu Yanyan, but instead had come to him, was out of respect for him. It showed that he, as her godfather, mattered to Anai Yang. If it had been someone without conscience, they could have just pushed him, the foster father, aside. But Anai Yang hadn't done that. Watching Anai Yang walk away, Mo Qishan quickly jogged over. How did it go? What did our godfather say? Anai Yang replied. It's just like you guessed. Godfather didn't make it difficult for me, but I don't know what Yanyan will think. Mo Qishan wrapped an arm around Anai Yang's shoulders, his thin lips parting lightly. Do your best and let fate decide. As a sister, you've done well enough. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Anai Yang was only Wu Yanyan's sister. In other families, a sister simply couldn't do so much, especially since she wasn't the one who caused this mess to begin with. Anai Yang nodded. Let's hurry back. My parents and grandparents are still at home waiting for the result. Sure enough, as soon as they arrived home, Anai Tsuehua and the rest were eager to ask Anai Yang what Wu Jinshu had said. Anai Yang shared, Mom, Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, don't be anxious. My godfather didn't make things difficult for me. He said that we'll need to wait for Yanyan's feelings on this matter, and we'll probably know the result by tomorrow. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Total outburst. _3. Anai Tsuehua nodded, her eyes still red. Lady Shangguan said, I see that Yanyan is quite gentle and sensible. I think she will definitely understand you, Dia, don't worry. Wu Yanyan seemed like a child with no temper, gentle and honest, not the kind who would unreasonably stick to his guns. Lady Zheng agreed. I think my in-law is right. Wu Yanyan had visited the Anai family a few times, and now thinking back, Lady Zheng felt that Wu Yanyan's temperament was very much like Zheng Suyu's. On the other hand, Shangguan, she had been preoccupied all day. Zhuo Ling noticed her distraction and asked when they were returning to the dormitory after work. Xiaoxi, what's wrong with you today? Are you feeling unwell? Shangguan, she smiled and said, It's nothing. Thinking of her family's advice, Shangguan, she added, Zhuo Ling, there's something I want to talk to you about. Go ahead. Shang Guanxi spotted a small restaurant on the roadside. Let's go there and talk while we eat. Okay, Zuoling nodded. The small restaurant was very simple. The two of them ordered 3 dishes and 1 soup for just 8 yuan. As they ate and talked, Shang Guanxi asked, Zuoling, do you hope your future child is a boy or a girl? When Shang Guanxi suddenly asked this, Zuoling was stunned for a moment. Then he smiled and said, Boy or girl, I like both equally. Didn't the great man say that men and women are now equal? Hearing this, Shang Guanxi breathed a sigh of relief. She knew Zuoling wasn't biased in favor of boys. Xiaoxi, why would you suddenly ask that? Zuoling looked up at Shang Guanxi. Tell me, are you thinking about having children with me? Cough, cough, cough. Shang Guanxi choked on her soup, tears streaming from her eyes. Xiaoxi, are you all right? Zuoling quickly stood up to pat her back. Take it easy, no one's rushing you. I was startled by you, all right. Shang Guanxi rolled her eyes at Zuoling, her face turning red. Who said I want to have children with you? Zuoling laughed. If not with me, then who else would you want to have them with? Shang Guanxi pushed him lightly, straightened her expression, and said, Zuoling, be serious. I'm talking about something important here. Who says I'm not being serious? I am very serious and solemn. Zuoling continued. Xiaoxi, we are not young anymore. I met your parents yesterday. When can we get our marriage certificate? Then we can have a bunch of kids. A bunch? Shang Guanxi widened her eyes. Zuoling, family planning is so strict now. And you still want a bunch? Zuoling slapped his forehead. Right, I forgot. I thought it was still my parents' era where you could have as many children you want. Shang Guanxi continued. I have a question for you, and you must answer me honestly. Aha, Zuoling nodded. Ask away. I guarantee no secrets at all from you. Or may lightning strike me dead. Did my uncle and aunt have so many children because they preferred sons over daughters? Shang Guanxi asked. Of course not. Zuoling immediately denied. Xiaoxi, why would you think that? My parents are leaders at the factory. They are educated people. How can their consciousness be so low? Rest assured, they absolutely aren't the type who prefer sons over daughters. Whether or not his parents favored sons over daughters, Zuoling, being their son, definitely knew it clearly. As a child, while his 7 sisters ate bran and swallowed vegetables, he alone ate white rice and fine flour, having a boiled egg every morning, his sisters not even dreaming of getting a piece of the eggshell. Moreover, all 7 of his sisters were illiterate. Only he graduated from university. Even now, those 7 sisters had to frequently subsidize the family. But how could he admit such a thing directly? Zuoling wasn't stupid. He and Shang Guanxi's relationship was at a critical juncture. What if this broke them up? He certainly didn't want to marry Chen Liebao, that pig. Really? Shang Guanxi pressed on. If uncle and aunt didn't prefer sons over daughters, then why did they have so many children? Zuoling laughed and said, My dad was an only child, and my mom had her and my aunt, just 2 people. Seeing other families with many children always seemed very lively. My parents especially envied that. So my mom gave birth to my 7 sisters and me. Actually, there was another younger sister after me, but when my mom was 8 months pregnant with her, she accidentally fell. Medical skills weren't advanced at that time, so the baby didn't survive, and my mom was very heartbroken. After that, she never conceived again. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Total outbreak. _4. Zuoling made up the story about the past pregnancy. His goal was simply to make Shang Guanxi believe him. After all, the Zhou family had only moved to Beijing 20 years ago, and many old neighbors weren't clear about their old affairs, so even if Shang Guanxi had the intention to inquire, she wouldn't find out anything. Shang Guanxi nodded. Oh, I see. Zuoling continued. My mother still remembers my unborn sister to this day. Every year on Tomb Sweeping Day and the Cold Clothes Festival, she burns paper money for her. Xiaoxi, you must remember never to bring this up in front of my mother. I don't want to resurrect her grief. He knew Shang Guanxi too well. She was simple and kind-hearted. Considering his mother, She would not ask his mother to verify this. I understand. Don't worry, I won't say anything. That's good then. As the conversation ended, Shang Guanxi added, by the way, Zueling, there's another thing I want to make clear to you. Go ahead, Zueling said with a smile. I'm all ears. Shang Guanxi said, nowadays birth planning is so strict. If we were to get married in the future, regardless of whether our first child is a boy or a girl, I will not have a second child, and even your parents cannot interfere with our decision. If you agree, then we can continue our relationship. If you don't, then let's just end things here. Some things needed to be made clear in advance. Having been advised by her family, Shang Guanxi didn't want to end up in an ugly dispute over such matters. This was absolutely unacceptable. Even though birth planning was strict, if one spouse could resign from work, not both being in employment would allow a second child. Besides, wasn't it a woman's duty to carry on the family line? Would a woman who couldn't bear children be brought home just to be revered like an ancestor? But of course, Zueling would never speak these thoughts aloud. He was, for now, quite content to revere Shang Guanxi like an honored ancestor. Shang Guanxi was beautiful and well-educated, and they shared deep feelings. Zueling did not want to part ways over the issue of children. People change. Shang Guanxi, not yet married and still a young woman, was unaware of a woman's duties and mission. Perhaps after getting married, she would understand. By then, she might even be clamoring to have a second, third, or fourth child. Yes, that would definitely happen. Thinking this, Zueling said with a smile. Yes, I'll listen to you. Xiaoxi, don't worry, in the future, whatever you say goes in our family. As for children, you can have as many as you want. And if you don't want any, then we won't have any at all. Really? Shang Guanxi looked at Zueling somewhat surprised, as she had not expected him to be so open-minded. Because her birth mother, Su Fun, had died in childbirth on the operating table, Shang Guanxi harbored some fear of giving birth. Zueling, I'll just tell you the truth. My biological mother died from complications during childbirth, and I am actually quite afraid of giving birth, Shang Guanxi continued. And I've heard from Xiaolin in the workshop that giving birth is incredibly painful, and that during birth the child and feces might come out together. What had Xiaolin said at that time? Xiaolin said she lost all her dignity on the operating table. Ever since having a child, Xiaolin had become a different person, treating her own mother with special kindness and filial piety, because she had experienced the agony of childbirth. A woman only understands a mother's sacrifices and greatness once she becomes a mother herself. One only understands parental grace after raising children. Zueling said with a smile. Then let's not have children. By the way, Xiaoxi, what do your uncle and aunt, grandparents and grandmother think of me after yesterday? He knew without asking that Shang Guanxi's parents must have a very good impression of him. After all, finding a man like him in Beijing was incredibly difficult. Zueling was very aware of Shang Guanxi's family circumstances. Shang Guanxi's father was just a teacher. How much could a teacher earn a month? At most 20 yuan. Not even as much as their family nanny maid. And her stepmother just ran a small business, the least prestigious occupation. If it weren't for his affection for Shang Guanxi, he wouldn't consider marrying the daughter of a small business owner. Shang Guanxi's brother worked at a bank, probably just doing menial tasks. As for that sister, except for being the top scorer in the college entrance exam, she was utterly useless. The sister's boyfriend didn't even have a proper job. He guessed that the total income of Shang Guanxi's entire family might not be higher than his salary alone. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1000. Total Outbreak. _5. Not only is the income low, but there's also the need to support 3 elders and a child. What money could such a family have? When encountering a golden son-in-law like him, one must definitely hold on tight. In the entire family, only he has a monthly salary over 100. Zueling felt a full sense of superiority in his heart. Shang Guanxi didn't have the heart to deflate Zueling's pride, and also wanted to leave a good impression of her family in his heart. She knew some things clearly herself and lightly said, My parents have a particularly good impression of you, especially my aunt and my younger aunt. After you left, the two of them were still praising you. Really? Zuoling asked. Really? Shang Guanxi nodded. Zuoling then said, so, should we start discussing our wedding date now? Shang Guanzai's face flushed momentarily. This is not urgent. Xiaoxi, I'm already 23 this year. The 80s were not like later times. Back then, people advocated for early marriage and childbirth. Some college students were still studying when they had children. And there were some who attended college while having children. Someone like Shang Guanxi was already considered an older youth. The most crucial issue was that Shang Guanxi was somewhat traditional. Normally, Zuoling couldn't even hold her hand, let alone other things. 23 is an age easily prone to impulsiveness. Shang Guanxi continued. You've met my parents, but I haven't met your uncle and aunt yet. I also don't know if your uncle and aunt are satisfied with me, Zuoling said with a smile. You can rest assured about that, Xiaoxi. You're beautiful and well-educated. My parents will definitely be very satisfied with you. How about this? Let's set a time for you to visit my parents, and then arrange a day for the parents on both sides to meet. Shang Guanxi nodded. That's possible. Having resolved the issue of having children, Shang Guanxi felt much more relaxed. On the way to the dormitory, she even hummed the popular song Sweet Honey. No sooner had she returned to the dormitory than Shang Guanxi found an additional message on her pager from home. Shang Guanxi put on her coat again and went to a public telephone booth to call back home. The person who answered the phone was Enai Cuehua. Enai Cuehua was informing Shang Guanxi about Wu Yanyan's situation. Although Wu Yanyan and Shang Guanxi weren't related by blood, they were now a family, and since it was a family matter, she should inform Shang Guanxi. It was the least form of respect. Shang Guanxi was a sensible and good child, and immediately said she would return home tomorrow. She was also very happy that Enai Cuehua was willing to tell her about this matter. Meanwhile, at the Wu family, Wu Jinshu did not tell Wu Yanyan about the situation immediately, but quietly spoke to Yan Erju about it. After hearing this, Yan Erju exclaimed in surprise, Really? Wu Jinshu nodded. What kind of question is that? Would I joke about such a matter? After saying this, he continued. It's not only our Yanyan who was abandoned as a child, but also Yang Yang's third and fourth sisters. However, we can't blame their mother for this. Yan Erju sighed after listening. We really can't blame Yang Yang's mother for such a thing. Just look at your mother, and you'll understand. If it weren't for Yang Yang, wouldn't our Yanyan have been sold to the Wu family? Upon mentioning this matter, Wu Jinshu bowed his head in shame. After they had moved here, Grandma Wu hadn't given up. After some inquiries, she and Wu Jinjin found this place. But on their way here, she had slipped and became a vegetable, still lying in the hospital to this date. Wu Jinjin was afraid of being responsible and hid himself away. As a son, Wu Jinshu had to take care of her, now bearing a medical expense of 20 yuan per month. Fortunately, the construction company was now making quite a bit of money each month, so this 20 yuan didn't exert too much pressure on them. Otherwise, life would really have been impossible to continue. Also fortunately, Grandma Wasfall made her a vegetable. Otherwise, who knows how much trouble she could have caused later on. She might even have taken this opportunity to fiercely extort a sum from the Enai family. Wu Jinshu knew it was wrong for a son to have such thoughts, but he couldn't help it. Whenever he thought of his mother's actions, he became very angry. Wu Jinshu then said, When should we tell Yanyan about this matter? What do you think? Yan Erju was unsure as well. At the same time, she was somewhat worried. After all, the Enai family's conditions were so good. What if Wu Yanyan didn't want them as his foster parents after knowing about this matter? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1001. Total Outbreak. _6. Wu Jinshu said, What I mean is, since Yanyan will have to know about this sooner or later, we might as well tell her now. Isn't there a saying, a swift knife cuts through the mess? If Yanyan really chooses the Enai family and doesn't want us anymore, we can't stop her. After all, blood is thicker than water. No matter what choice Wu Yanyan made, Wu Jinshu would respect it. But out of selfishness, Wu Jinshu still hoped that Wu Yanyan wouldn't abandon them. Okay, Yan Erju nodded and with a sigh said, I'll go call Xiaoyan. Wu Yanyan now lived in a room by herself. When Yan Erju went to see her, she was revising her schoolwork. Her grades were good, but not top-notch. With Enai Yang as a shining example before her, she wanted to make a push as well, to bring honor to her parents. Xiaoyan, are you studying? Yan Erju gently pushed the door open. MHM. Wu Yanyan nodded. Mom, is there something you needed from me? Yan Erju smiled and said, Xiaoyan, come with Mom for a moment. Your dad and I have something to tell you. Okay. Wu Yanyan put down her pen and followed Yan Erju to the master bedroom. Yanyan is here, have a seat. Wu Jinshu patted the sofa. Sensing something off about her parents' expressions, Wu Yanyan asked, Mom, Dad, what is it you want to talk to me about? You seem so serious. Wu Jinshu swallowed, carefully choosing his words in his mind. It's not such a big deal, it's just, Yanyan, your mom and I want to talk to you about your origins. I think you should know that you are not our biological child. Upon hearing this, Wu Yanyan's eyes instantly reddened. Mom, Dad, do you not want me anymore? Ever since she knew about her origins, Wu Yanyan's mind had become sensitive. She feared that one day her parents might suddenly not want her. Hearing this, her heart leaped to her throat. No, not at all. Wu Jinshu quickly shook his head to deny it. Silly child, what are you talking about? Why would your mom and dad not want you? Your parents just want to talk to you about this matter. Yan Erju added, Xiaoyan, you were raised by me from diapers to potty training. How could I ever not want you? Don't worry, you will always be your father and mother's daughter. Wu Yanyan wiped her tears. Then why are you bringing up this issue all of a sudden? Something felt off about it all. Yan Erju sighed and continued, Xiaoyan, your biological mother had no choice but to abandon you, and I hope you won't hold it against them. Wu Yanyan blinked, then said, Have they come looking? Yan Erju nodded. Learning that her blood relatives had found her, Wu Yanyan couldn't describe what she was feeling. Her mind went blank. They didn't want her, did they? So why were they looking for her now? What kind of desperation had led them to give up their own flesh and blood? Mom, you and Dad just ignore them. Wu Jinshu continued. Yanyan, aren't you even a little bit curious who they are? I'm not curious. Besides, there wasn't anything to be curious about. Yan Erju said, Xiaoyan, your biological mother really had her desperate reasons, and I hope you can forgive them. Wu Yanyan stayed silent. Yan Erju continued, Xiaoyan, actually Yang Yang is your sister, and Yang Yang's mom is your biological mother. At these words, Wu Yanyan felt as if something in her mind exploded with a bang. She never dreamed that Enai Tsuehua was her birth mother. That Enai Yang was her biological sister. She remembered the first time she saw Enai Yang. That day, Enai Yang wore a beautiful and tidy cheongsam, like a young miss from a wealthy family stepping out of a novel, observably untouchable. At the time, she wondered how there could be someone so beautiful in the world. Not only was she beautiful, but she also had such good fortune. Back then, she wore patchwork clothes, looking destitute like a beggar, struggling even for 3 meals a day. The first time she met Enai Tsuehua, the scene was much the same. Enai Tsuehua lived in a glittering, grand villa, surrounded by a cluster of servants and her. She was dressed worse than the servants. Now they had come to tell her that Enai Tsuehua was her birth mother. The irony of it all was just too much. Wu Yanyan couldn't accept it. She simply couldn't. No. Mom, you're lying to me. They're not. They're not. Wu Jinshu sighed. Yanyan, your mom isn't lying to you. Yang Yang really is your sister, and Yang Yang's mom is indeed your birth mother. Yanyan, our family's situation isn't as good as theirs. If you want to go to the Enai family, your mom and I won't stop you. After all, it wasn't Yang Yang's mom's intention to lose you. No. I won't go to their house. Dad, Mom, I am forever your daughter. I don't want to leave you. Wu Yanyan hugged Yan Erju tightly. Mom, don't send me away. Even if the Enai family owned mountains of gold and silver, she wouldn't go. Her home was here forever. Tears welled up in Yan Erju's eyes. How could your dad and I send you away? We won't. Knowing that Wu Yanyan didn't want to leave, Yan Erju also breathed a sigh of relief. Wu Jinshu continued. Xiaoyan, Yang has already discussed with me. Why don't you just consider them as your godparents? That way, you'll have an extra set of parents who care about you. Is this what Sister Yang suggested? Wu Yanyan looked at Wu Jinshu. Wu Jinshu nodded. Yes. I disagree. Wu Yanyan flatly rejected. Although she had never thought of going back to the Ni family, she hadn't expected that the Ni family never even considered taking her back. Her refusal was one thing. Whether the Ni family acknowledged it was another. Were they afraid she would come back to claim the Ni family's inheritance? Ridiculous. She had ambition. She was determined to fight for what she wanted. Did she care about the Ni family's wealth? Why not? Wu Jinshu asked. Because I will never forgive them. Not in this lifetime, Wu Yanyan declared. Now Wu Yanyan had finally realized why Ni Yang had said those words to her before. Ni Yang must have known then that she was her sister. If she knew all along, why didn't she tell her sooner? Wu Yanyan suddenly felt a ludicrous sense of being toyed with. So all of this was premeditated. Xiaoman, don't be like that. Actually, Yang's mom was also helpless. It wasn't just you who got thrown away. Your third and fourth sisters were discarded too. Then why weren't Ni Yang and Ni Yin thrown away? Wu Yanyan retorted. Why was she the one discarded? As a mother, how could Ni Tsuehua not protect her own children? If she never wanted her to begin with, why give birth to her at all? Such injustice was truly unfair to her. Yan Erju continued. Because Yang is the eldest child. There's a saying back in our hometown that the eldest must be well raised. What about Ni Yin then? Wu Yanyan pressed on. Yan Erju choked, then said. Yanyan was also going to be thrown away, but fortunately, Yang's mom and your biological father got divorced in time. Actually, Yang's mom had it tough too. Then why couldn't they have divorced sooner? If they had divorced earlier, none of this would have happened. Wu Yanyan pressed on. Anyway, I can't forgive them. Mom and Dad. Let's not have any more dealings with them from now on. I don't want to see anyone from their family ever again. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1002. Super protective. Wu Yanyan really couldn't forgive the Ni family. Whenever she thought about how she was the one discarded, she felt extremely uncomfortable, suffocated. A mix of complex emotions would come together, and she felt like she would explode. Yanyan, calm down a bit, Erju continued. Back then, women had no say in anything. You know about your grandmother's issue. If it weren't for Yang, you would already be stepmothering someone else's children, you know? You can't be so heartless. Wu Yanyan looked at Erju and said, if they hadn't discarded me, I wouldn't have almost ended up as someone else's stepmother. At the end of the day, this whole thing was still the Ni family's fault. All the suffering she endured was caused by the Ni family. Wu Jinshu said, Yanyan, back then, when your grandmother wanted to marry you into the Wu family, your mom and we couldn't protect you, just like Yang's mom faced the same situation as your mom and I did back then. Equally helpless, equally desperate. As parents, Wu Jinshu and Erju really understood Ni Tsuehua. Previously, as a bystander, Wu Yanyan, upon hearing Yang reminisce about the past, could also understand Ni Tsuehua. But now Wu Yanyan wasn't a bystander. She was the one who experienced it. No one knew what she had gone through over the years. She was only 18 this year, yet life's hardships had spared none on her. In the past, just to let her parents and 3 younger brothers have a bit more to eat, she often went hungry. In the winter, because she had no cotton shoes, her toes were nearly frostbitten. In her second year of high school, she was forced to drop out due to lack of money. That same year, she nearly became someone's stepmother. Given a choice, she would rather have never experienced life on Earth. Mom, Dad, stop talking. I don't want to hear it. Wu Yanyan stood up, took a deep breath. That's it, I'm going back to my room. I will never set foot in the Ni family's house again. Wu Jinshu wanted to say more but was held back by Erju, who whispered, she's furious right now, let her calm down first. Okay, Wu Jinshu nodded. Before talking to Wu Yinyan about this matter, the couple had thought of many possible outcomes, but they had never expected this one. They hadn't anticipated that Wu Yinyan would get so angry, nor that she would start to hate the people of Ni family. What should I tell Yang Yang tomorrow? Wu Jinshu was somewhat troubled. Failing to resolve this matter, Wu Jinshu felt very guilty, especially since Yang Yang had helped their family out so much. There's no other way but to tell the truth, Erju said. We can't just force Yanyan's head down and make her acknowledge these relatives. Yanyan has been obedient all her life. It's just that she's struggling to accept this outcome right now. Maybe she'll come around after a few days. This is the only option left, Wu Jinshu said helplessly. Inside the house, Wu Yinyan sat at her desk, sobbing, nearly out of breath. The air felt oppressive and suffocating. A few days earlier, when she visited the Ni family, she saw little Ni Yun being adored by the whole family, truly treated like a gem held in the palms. Little Ni Yun's food and belongings were things she had never seen in her childhood. Especially the three old folks, who spoiled little Ni Yun to the extreme, giving him whatever he wanted, even sterilizing his eating utensils with hot water. He's already nearly 3 years old and still drinking milk. And her? She didn't even have breast milk as a child. It was Erju who fed her rice water. Because of the lack of nutrition in rice water, her immune system was much weaker than her peers, making her prone to catching colds. Above, Yang Yang outshined her, becoming the national top scholar, basked in endless glory. Below, little Ni Yun lived a better life than hers. Even though they were sisters from the same mother, why did she taste all the bitterness of life while they lived so well? It was better not to think of these things, but when she did, she felt incredibly wronged, incredibly hurt. Why? Why was she the one discarded? What kind of mother doesn't raise her child? She wouldn't forgive them, never would. The next day, early in the morning, Yang Yang was already waiting at the village entrance. In the early winter morning, a thick white fog filled the air. Visibility was barely 1 meter, and even Yang Yang, whose senses were extremely sharp, couldn't see through the heavy fog. After a long wait, she finally saw Wu Jinshu leading workers towards her. Godfather. Yang Yang, Wu Jinshu's face looked rather unpleasant. Yin Shi. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1003. Super Protection of Companions _2. Seeing the look on Wu Jinshu's face, Ni Yang had already guessed the outcome of the matter. In fact, Ni Yang had been mentally prepared for this. From the perspective of a child who had been abandoned, Ni Yang could also understand Wu Yinyan. Godfather, does Yinyan not want to forgive us? Wu Jinshu succinctly relayed last night's events to Ni Yang. He didn't go into details, just said that Wu Yinyan couldn't digest the fact for the time being, and was temporarily unwilling to acknowledge the relationship. Yang Yang, I'm sorry. Don't worry, your godmother and I will try our best to persuade Yinyan. That child might just need some time to come around. Wu Jinshu said, believing that Wu Yinyan was just emotionally upset for now, since she had always been sensible from a young age. As long as she could understand this, it would be fine. Ni Yang gave a faint smile. Godfather, you don't need to apologize. The ones who should apologize are us. We are the ones who wronged Yinyan. No matter how you put it, the one who had been abandoned was Wu Yinyan. It was normal for her to feel aggrieved and angry. After bidding farewell to Wu Jinshu, Ni Yang returned home and recounted the situation to her family. Upon hearing the news, both Mr. and Mrs. Zhang, the elders, looked disappointed and put down the things in their hands. These were gifts they had prepared for Wu Yinyan, originally planning to visit the Wu family today. They hadn't expected Wu Yinyan to refuse to recognize them. Ni Tsuehua sighed deeply, guiltily saying, "It is my fault, I owe that child an apology." Ni Tsuehua felt deep remorse for the child she had not even held once after birth. In the past, she was the one who was useless, the one who failed to protect her own child. She hoped to use the rest of her life to make amends. That's why she had been working so hard, so insistently, to run the spicy strip factory, and to make the food business bigger. Now that she had finally found her child, And Suehua did not want to easily give up. She wanted to make amends to the children with her own ability. "We will go with you," said the elderly Mr. and Mrs. Zheng. Shangguan Dahui picked up his coat. "There's no class this morning at school. I will go with you as well." Yang spoke in a muted tone, trying to dissuade them. "Yin is angry right now. Going over will not only be unhelpful but might even make things worse." "Regardless, I still want to go see for myself," said Suehua, her voice already nearing hoarseness. What if Wu Yanyan accepted her apology? Suehua was determined to go, and Yang had no choice but to say, "Then go, but you must prepare yourself mentally." "MHM." Suehua nodded. The elder Zhengs also took large and small packs of gifts and went with her, while Mrs. Shangguan stayed at home to take care of little Yun. Around 9 o'clock, Shangguan came home. "Why is nobody at home? Grandma, where are my parents? And how is the situation with Yin? When are we planning the family reunion?" That would mean Wu Yanyan would be her third sister. From now on, their family would have one more member, and Shangguan was quite happy about it. Mrs. Shangguan shook her head. "Don't even mention it. You wouldn't think Yin has such a temper, but she refuses to acknowledge us." From Mrs. Shangguan's point of view, Suehua and Yang had been good enough to Wu Yanyan. Yet Wu Yanyan seemed to be a bit unaware of her good fortune. "Not recognize? Why not? It's not my parents' fault." Shangguan frowned slightly. "I remember Yin is 17 this year, right?" "Yes, she is 2 years younger than Yang," Mrs. Shangguan confirmed with a nod. Shangguan continued. "I remember that around this time 2 years ago, Yang already had opened over 10 noodle restaurants and milk tea shops. If they really are sisters, there shouldn't be such a big difference." Being true sisters, Shangguan couldn't help but compare Wu Yanyan with Yang. Others might not know about Yang's situation, but Shangguan knew everything clearly. Everything Yang currently owned was earned by herself. She had never relied on anyone. This comparison made Wu Yanyan seem to pale in comparison. Mrs. Shangguan sighed. After all, she was abandoned since she was little. It's normal for her to have grievances in her heart. Perhaps she'll come around after thinking it over for a few days. "Let's hope so." Shangguan shrugged her shoulders and stretched out her hand to little Yin. "Come little Yun, do you want a hug from your sister? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1004. Super protective of one's close ones _3. "Okay." Little Yun immediately reached out and hugged Shangguan's neck. "Sister Xiaoxi, Yun missed you so much." Little Yun was at an age where she was sweet-tongued, charming everyone she saw, often bringing the family to laughter. As Shangguan played with little Yun, she asked the Mu family's old lady about Wu Yanyan. "So my parents have gone to Yanyan's home now?" "MHM." The Mu family's old lady nodded. Yang told them not to go, but your mom couldn't wait any longer. She said she wanted to go and apologize to Yanyan in person. "Did Yang go as well?" Shangguan questioned. Yang didn't go. She had things to do in the city. After saying this, the Mu family's old lady continued. "Don't just talk about them. What about you? How are things going with Zueling? When are you two planning to break up?" The Mu family's old lady dreamt of Shangguan breaking up with Zueling. "Grandma, what nonsense are you talking about? Zueling and I are doing great. How could we possibly break up? With such a complex family that favors sons over daughters, you'll regret it someday if you don't break up," the Mu family's old lady declared. Hearing this, Shangguan smiled. "Don't worry, Grandma. I have already figured out Zueling's family situation. The reason Zueling has 7 sisters is not because of preferring sons over daughters. It's because his parents like a bustling household, which led them to have several children. Besides, after Zueling, his mother was pregnant again." Shangguan truly trusted Zueling, so she took his words as the absolute truth. "How can you be sure Zueling isn't deceiving you?" The Mu family's old lady looked at Shangguan. Only Shangguan would believe such tall tales. How many women in this world would give birth to 8 children just because they like a bustling household? Shangguan firmly said, No. Zueling would never deceive me. The Mu family's old lady sighed again. Xiaoxi, you are too naive. Don't worry, Grandma. I promise you that Zueling is not that kind of person. Moreover, Zueling has assured me that if we really stay together, it doesn't matter whether it's a boy or a girl, we only want one child. Zueling is also very open-minded, and can even accept not having children. As she finished speaking, Shang Guanxi turned to little Anai Yun. Yun, don't you think Sister Xiaoxi is right? Yes. Little Anai Yun nodded vigorously in agreement. You little girl, what do you know? The Mu family's old lady said with a chuckle as she poked little Anai Yun on the forehead. Little Anai Yun earnestly replied, I know. I understand very well. The Mu family's old lady turned serious. Xiaoxi, if you don't trust me, you should at least trust Yang Yang's judgment. Even Yang Yang thinks that Zueling is unreliable. Shang Guanxi nodded. I know, Grandma. Don't worry, I definitely won't be fooled by anyone. Meanwhile, at the Wu family, Yan Erju warmly welcomed Anai Cuehua, Shangguan Dehui, and the elder Mr. and Mrs. Zhang. Uncle, Aunt, please have some tea. Yan Erju set the tea on the table. Brother-in-law and Tingting, you have some too. Thank you, Sister Erju, Anai Cuehua said with tears in her eyes. Sister Erju, may we see Yan Yan? Yan Erju nodded. I'll go call her. Please wait a moment. Since the night before, Wu Yanyan had locked herself in her bedroom and had not come out. With the door locked from the inside, Yan Erju had no choice but to knock. Xiaoyan. She called out many times without a response. Sighing, Yan Erju spoke softly. Xiaoyan, why are you so stubborn? It wasn't Yang Yang's mom who abandoned you. With such a mother-in-law, she had no choice. She's just as much a victim of fate as your mother. When your grandma wanted to sell you, I was powerless too. Have you forgotten all this? Just as Yan Erju was about to give up, the door opened. Wu Yanyan was no longer as agitated as the day before and spoke calmly. Mom, do you believe everything they say? Since the Mu family's old lady is already dead, there's no one left to verify the truth. They can say whatever they want. Yan Erju replied. Xiaoyan, it's not right to think like that. I don't think Yang Yang's mom is the kind of person who would lie. To abandon one's own child is nothing. What would lying be to her? Wu Yanyan's mouth twisted with sarcasm. She said I was abandoned by the Mu family's old lady. Well, I could also say she abused the Mu family's elderly. What couldn't a person who could abandon their own child be capable of doing? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1005. Super Protective _4. What does abuse of the elderly amount to compared to abandoning a child? Yan Erju sighed. Xiaoyan, stop being so stubborn. If Yang Yang's mom really wanted to abandon you, she wouldn't come looking for you now. There's no mother in this world who doesn't love her child. Seeing Wu Yanyan like this made Yan Erju very anxious. Anai Yang's family had been so good to them, and she didn't want Wu Yanyan to hurt Anai Kuihua's feelings. They say spilled water cannot be regained, and indeed, hearts are the hardest to mend. Some things, once lost, can never be retrieved. On the other hand, Yan Erju also didn't want Wu Yanyan to do something she would regret. Love, Wu Yanyan retorted. How can she throw me away if she loves her child? Isn't it said that a mother should be strong? I think she doesn't deserve to be a mother. Yan Erju continued. Xiaoyan, calm down. Sit down peacefully and talk it out with Yang Yang's mom, and listen to what they have to say. Can't you be a bit more flexible? Even if just for mom's sake? Mom did, after all, raise you for 18 years. Are you not even willing to listen to her now? Upon hearing this, Wu Yanyan's expression changed. She didn't want Yan Erju to worry about her anymore. I understand, Mom. Seeing this, Yan Erju breathed a sigh of relief. Then come with me to the living room now. Have they arrived? Wu Yanyan asked. Yes, Yan Erju nodded. Yang Yang's dad, Yang Yang's mom, and your grandparents are all here. Xiaoyan, be good, and don't say those hurtful things anymore. Wu Yanyan didn't respond and turned to walk to the living room. Yan Erju followed Wu Yanyan's steps. When Wu Yanyan emerged and Kuihua's face tensed up, She didn't know what to say. Should she call her child, or should she just call her by her name, Wu Yanyan? The table was piled with many gifts that Enide Suehua and others had brought. Wu Yanyan walked up to the table. With a sweep, she stretched out her hand and swept everything on the table onto the floor, pointing outside and yelling, "Leave! Get out of here fast! We don't welcome you people in our home." No one expected Wu Yanyan to react like this, including Yan Erju, who thought Wu Yanyan had calmed down. "Xiaonan, what are you doing?" Yan Erju hurried over and scolded loudly. "What you are doing is very rude, don't you know?" After speaking, Yan Erju immediately apologized to Enide Suehua. "I'm sorry, Tingting. Xiaoyan didn't mean to." Before Enide Suehua could respond, Wu Yanyan picked a gift box from the floor and threw it at Enide Suehua. "It was intentional. I did it on purpose. Leave. Take these things and get out of my house." Shangguan Dehui frowned slightly, wanting to reprimand Wu Yanyan, but considering Enai Kuihua's position, he suppressed his anger. If he had any blood relation with Wu Yanyan today, he wouldn't stand idly by. Enide Suehua was stunned, tears streaming down. "Child, I'm sorry. It's my fault, I know you hate me. But I really didn't do it on purpose. I didn't mean to abandon you. It's just that I was too incapable. Leave. Get out now." More things were hurled at Enide Suehua and the elder Zheng. A gift box corner hit elder Zheng's forehead, instantly swelling up. "What on earth is wrong with you?" Yan Erju stepped forward and slapped Wu Yanyan. "They are your elders. You shouldn't act this way. It's offensive. They weren't afraid of divine retribution when they abandoned me. Why should I be?" Wu Yanyan, covering her left cheek and hysterical, yelled, "Leave! Leave! Mom, Dad, Dia, let's go." Shangguan Dehui positioned himself in front of Enide Suehua and her family, guiding them outside. Under these circumstances, Enide Suehua and others had no choice but to leave temporarily. Yan Erju sighed, her face filled with guilt as she escorted them to the door. "Uncle, aunt, sister Tingting, brother-in-law, please don't take today's events to heart. Xiaoyan was just too impulsive. Don't worry, I will certainly teach her a lesson later." Enide Suehua wiped her tears and grasped Yan Erju's hand. "Sister Erju, it's my fault. She's right to hate me. Don't blame her." Such is the compassion of all parents worldwide. Yan Erju's eyes also turned red. "Yes, I know. Don't worry. I won't blame her. I will talk to her properly. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1006. Super Protective _5. Enide Suehua nodded. "Thank you, Sister Erju." "Of course." Shangguan Dehui had known that the outcome of this visit might not be good, but he hadn't expected it to be this bad. Wu Yanyan's reaction had caught him off guard. Previously, he and Mr. Zheng and Mrs. Zheng thought the same, considering Wu Yanyan to be a gentle and honest girl. Now, it seemed that wasn't the case. Several people got into the car. The expressions of Mr. Zheng and Mrs. Zheng were somewhat grim. They had lost their only daughter for decades. They knew too well the feeling of utter despair, and had thought that after their explanation, Wu Yanyan would understand them. But Wu Yanyan didn't even give them a chance to explain, and even resorted to violence. No matter what, they were her elders. Even if Wu Yanyan didn't regard them as elders, they were still elderly, and her hitting them was simply wrong. In comparison to Enai Yang, Wu Yanyan fell far short. To say he was not disappointed would be a lie. But from another perspective, this child was also pitiful. She had lost her mother at a young age and had almost died. Hopefully, the child can find her way out of this dead end soon. Enai Tsuehua then said, "Dehui, Dad, Mom, let's not tell Yang Yang about what just happened." Knowing Enai Yang's temperament, if she found out what Wu Yanyan did, she definitely wouldn't let it go. After all, Enai Yang was a very protective person. Shangguan Dehui didn't say anything. Enai Tsuehua nudged Shangguan Dehui's arm. "Dehui, did you hear me?" Shangguan Dehui sighed. "I know." Hearing this, Enai Tsuehua turned to look at Mr. and Mrs. Zheng in the back seat. "Dad, Mom, you mustn't tell Yang Yang either." Mr. Zheng and Mrs. Zheng nodded. At the Wu family house, Erju scolded Wu Yanyan severely. Xiaoyan, you really disappointed me today. How could you resort to violence? No matter what, they are your elders. Especially considering Mr. Zheng and Mrs. Zheng's age. Did you even think about the consequences before throwing things? Xiaonan, murder doesn't even go this far. Think about what you've done. After saying this, Erju stopped caring about Su Xiaoyan and turned to walk to her room. Wu Yinyun stood there reeling. Was she wrong? Really wrong? Did she deserve to be abandoned? Discarded by people and still expected to smile and say it didn't matter? That she didn't care? She is human, not a toy to be tossed around. Meanwhile, Anai Yang went to Bingji Yufu to do some accounting. It had been a while since she last did so, and after making the rounds, she reaped a huge profit that she could hardly stuff into her backpack, also carrying 2 plastic bags. As soon as she left the mall, she saw Xiaozhou. Brother Yang, where are you coming from? Xiaozhou greeted him. I went to Bingji Yufu to do some accounting. Did you come to browse the mall? Anai Yang raised his eyebrows slightly. Yeah. Xiaozhou nodded. By the way, what are you carrying that's so heavy? Money. Anai Yang didn't conceal it. Xiaozhou unbelievingly said. Come on, Brother Yang, don't joke. I'm serious. Who would use 2 broken plastic bags to carry money? If there was really that much money, wouldn't one need to be fully armed and able to walk so boldly on the street? It really is money. Anai Yang seriously said. I'm actually on my way to deposit it in the bank. Xiaozhou looked at Anai Yang incredulously. Do you think I look like a fool? Anai Yang nodded. Quite so. With that, Anai Yang handed Xiaozhou a plastic bag. If you don't believe me, see for yourself. Xiaozhou took the plastic bag. Indeed, just as he had expected. Heh. It was quite heavy. As Xiaozhou carried it, he opened a corner to look inside. His expression changed. Damn. It really was money. Anai Yang hadn't lied to him. Is this money real or fake? Xiaozhou swallowed hard. Manufacturing and distributing fake currency is illegal. I'm a law-abiding good citizen. Anai Yang spoke lightly. Xiaozhou immediately envied Anai Yang officially. Damn. He was so good at making money. Even though his detective agency earned a decent amount each day, compared to the speed at which Anai Yang made money, it was merely a drizzle, hardly worth mentioning. Anai Yang looked unfazed, as if accustomed to big scenes. Xiaozhou then said, You a lady carrying so much money on the street is too unsafe. Let me take you to the bank. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1007. Super Protective _6. Anai Yang turned his head to Xiaozhou. Are you sure you can beat me? Xiaozhou. That's a personal attack. Though I can't beat you, I can watch the money for you while you're fighting. Let's go, let's go. Anai Yang laughed. After the money is deposited, I'll treat you to a meal. Great. Xiaozhou followed up. But you really trust me to carry the money for you? Aren't you afraid I'll run off with it? Anai Yang raised an eyebrow slightly. We're all brothers, what's there to fear? The phrase "we're all brothers" inexplicably made Xiaozhou very happy. Being trusted by someone felt really good. Big Brother Yang, now that you've made so much money, remember to treat me to a big meal. I want to go to Gustianxiang to eat. With a casual wave of his hand, Anai Yang said generously, Sure, no problem. Do you have a membership card? Asked Xiaozhou. Yeah, Anai Yang nodded. I not only have a membership card but I can also give you one. Really? Xiaozhou was so thrilled he could almost fly. Big Brother Yang was true to his name. His connections were too wild. He could even get a membership card to Gustianxiang. The bank staff had already grown accustomed to the sight of Anai Yang using plastic bags to carry money. Thus, whenever Shang Guansu arrived at the bank, the staff would immediately say, President, your sister has deposited 2 plastic bags and a backpack full of money today. Shang Guansu also greatly admired Anai Yang. She seemed like a fragile young girl incapable of harming a chicken, but her ability to make money was stronger than 10 strong men combined. Anai Yang took Xiaozhou to Gustianxiang to eat. After eating and returning home, it was already afternoon. And Yang asked about the result of Kuihua's visit to the Wu family today. And Tsuehua said, your second younger sister still holds a grudge and isn't ready to forgive us, but I don't blame her. She's never had a sip of milk since she was a child. If it hadn't been for Sister Urju, she might be dead by now. And Yang hugged Tsuehua and comforted her. Mom, don't be sad. I don't think Yin is the kind of person to stick to her guns. After she calms down in a couple of days, I'll try talking to her. After all, she was her sister born of the same mother, and Yang still had a lot of faith in Wu Yinyan. And before, she and Wu Yinyan got along well. And Tsuehua nodded. Shangguan Dahui looked at Yang with hesitation in his expression. Dad, do you have something to say to me? No, Shangguan Dahui shook his head. I'm just worried. What if Yinyan refuses to forgive us? Would your mother regret it for the rest of her life? And Yang furrowed her brow slightly. If Yinyan really doesn't want to acknowledge us, then let it be. Rather than making a scene on both sides, it's better to part on good terms. All we need to do is fulfill our duties, leave the rest to fate, and avoid living with regrets. As for Tsuehua, as long as she learned that her second daughter wasn't dead and was living well, that would be enough. No matter what, these mistakes weren't caused by her, and no amount of guilt could change that. Finishing, Yang continued, but based on what I know about Yin, she doesn't seem to be the type to be unreasonable. Yang had known Wu Yinyan for almost half a year. In her understanding, Wu Yinyan had always been a kind, simple, and empathetic girl. As long as she was given time to process everything, Yang believed she would understand. Shangguan Dahui nodded. Noticing that Shangguan Dahui seemed a bit off, Yang said again, Dad, are you hiding something from me? She always felt there was something strange about Shangguan Dahui that evening. And it's not just a little bit. Shangguan Dahui said with a smile. Look at you, kid. What could I possibly hide from you? There's nothing to worry about. You're overthinking it. Really? Yang raised an eyebrow slightly. Dad, we're all family. Don't hide anything from me if there's something going on. Really, there's nothing. Shangguan Dahui repeatedly denied, so Yang did not continue to question him, and went back to her room to ask Tsuehua. Mom, is Dad hiding something from me? What thing? Tsuehua felt somewhat baffled. You don't know? Tsuehua laughed. I don't know. Yang then said, Mom, you went to the Wu family today. Did something unpleasant happen? Not at all. Tsuehua sighed. If I had to say something, it's just that Yinyan refused to acknowledge us. Yang knew they were definitely hiding something from her. Mom, if there's something going on, you have to tell me. We're a family, and if there's a problem, we should solve it together. Tsuehua nodded. Mom understands. If Tsuehua wasn't talking, Yang could ask all she wanted, but it would be to no avail. Thus, Yang could only give up. During dinner, Yang noticed that Grandpa Zheng's forehead was actually swollen, so she asked, Grandpa, what happened to your forehead? Hearing this, Kuihua's brow twitched. She looked at Grandpa Zheng somewhat nervously. Grandpa Zheng touched his forehead, smiling and said, Oh, it's nothing. I was planting flowers this morning and accidentally got hit by a hoe. It will subside in a little bit. Getting injured by a hoe while working was quite normal, so Yang didn't think much of it. Be more careful when you work, Grandpa. I'll get you some medicine later to help with the circulation and bruising. No need, it's a small matter, Grandpa Zheng said unconcerned. Because of Wu Yanyan's situation, Shangguan Su also came back tonight. He had even prepared a gift for his new sister, only to find she hadn't come back at all. The next morning, Yang went out for a run, and Shangguan she went to work with her bag. Just as she arrived at the corner, waiting for the bus, a luxurious sedan pulled up in front of Shangguan Shi. The window rolled down, revealing a handsome face. Hello, Shangguan Xiaoxi. Seeing who it was, Shangguan Shi was amused. Wu Chenjun, when did you get back? The person was Wu Chenjun, who had grown up with Shangguan Shi since childhood. The last time, Grandma Zheng had even talked about matchmaking Shangguan Shi with Wu Chenjun. But Shangguan Shi and Wu Chenjun were far too familiar with each other, having seen each other in split pants as kids. There was simply no spark, so Shang Guanxi refused. After graduating from high school, Wu Qinjun had spent a few years abroad, so he was dressed very fashionably, and sometimes even burst out with a few sentences in English. I came back a week ago. Shang Guanxiaoxi, you don't care about me at all. You didn't even know when I came back. As soon as I got back, my grandma told me that your whole family had moved to the middle of nowhere. And I couldn't believe it was true. Shang Guanxi slapped Wu Qinjun on the back. What do you mean by the middle of nowhere? Let me tell you, this place is great. The mountains are green, the water is clear, and the birds sing beautifully. Although she had only moved to Jinghua village a few months ago, Shang Guanxi had completely fallen in love with the place. Wu Qinjun brushed off Shang Guanxi's hand. Where are you heading? Let me give you a lift. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1008. Eyesight is poor. Shang Guanxi pulled open the car door without any courtesy. I have to go to work just on Goldie Road. Got it. Wu Qinjun sat up straight. Fasten your seatbelt. Shang Guanxi quickly buckled up. Let's go. Wu Qinjun turned his head to look at Shang Guanxi. I heard from my grandma that you've got a boyfriend? Yes, Shang Guanxi nodded. And you're not getting any younger. Haven't you thought about finding a girlfriend? Wu Qinjun laughed with self-admiration. Someone as outstanding as me is simply too much for the average girl. Heh, Shang Guanxi said speechlessly. After all these years, your skin seems to have gotten thicker, comparable to the corner of a city wall. I'm serious. Wu Qinjun added. Shang Guanxiaoxi, I hear your family isn't too happy with your boyfriend? You know about that? Shang Guanxi was surprised. Wu Qinjun kept his hands on the steering wheel. You underestimate me. Is there anything in Sijio City that I don't know? Wu Qinjun was a smooth operator and had a way with his peers. All he had to do was lift a finger to find out what he wanted to know. Starting to boast again, Shang Guanxi continued. Actually, my boyfriend is really nice, but my family has some misunderstandings about him. Wu Qinjun kept his eyes straight ahead. Sometimes you can't tell by appearances. Shang Guanxiaoxi, you've always been a little naive. Be careful not to be deceived by people with ulterior motives. Wu Qinjun knew Shang Guanxi all too well. She was beautiful but unfortunately not quite emotionally savvy. Otherwise, she wouldn't have stayed single for so many years. That's not going to happen, Shang Guanxi laughed. Zueling isn't that kind of person. Zueling? Wu Qinjun said. That's your boyfriend's name? Yeah, Shang Guanxi nodded. Wu Qinjun continued. Elders have seen and experienced more than us. Their life experiences are more abundant. If your whole family says Zueling isn't good enough, then he might really have a problem. Shang Guanxiaoxi, this is a serious matter. I hope you'll take it seriously. It's about being responsible to yourself, and your family as well. Shang Guanxi was not only lacking in emotional intelligence but also very naive, easy to be deceived by men. Shang Guanxi teased. Tisk tsk, such grand principles. Wu Laosan, spending time abroad has changed you. It seems it's a great opportunity to develop oneself. The old Wu Qinjun used to be irresponsible, never this serious. Call me third brother. Show some respect. Wu Qinjun tapped Shang Guanxi's head and said with seriousness, Shang Guanxiaoxi, if Zueling ever dares to bully you, tell me, and I'll beat him up for you. Shang Guanxi looked down, fiddling with the zipper of her down jacket. Don't worry, that day will never come. Zueling was a gentleman. He would never do something like mistreating a woman. It seemed that Shang Guanxi was truly in love with that Zueling. Wu Qinjun sighed softly, changing the subject. How is your stepmother treating you? What stepmother? That sounds so harsh. My mom treats me better than her own daughter. Shang Guanxi said. Really? Wu Qinjun expressed skepticism. Shang Guanxi nodded. Really, my mom is really good to me. Otherwise, do you think I would have come here with my dad? I'm not a 3-year-old girl. That's good to hear. Wu Qinjun breathed a sigh of relief. Soon, the car arrived at Goldie Road. Wu Qinjun, with gentlemanly grace, went around to the passenger side to open the door for Shang Guanxi. Thanks, Wu Laosan. Yo, Shangguan Xiaoxi, when did you become so polite? Wu Chenjun habitually fastened her scarf. Wu Lao-san, haven't you heard of not getting too close to the opposite gender? Shangguan she took a step back. Wu Chenjun's expression stiffened for a few seconds, then returned to normal, smiling. Shangguan Xiaoxi, look at yourself. Where do you even look like a woman? Still talking about not getting close to the opposite gender. After he finished speaking, he stepped over, hooked his arm around Shangguan Zai's neck, and patted her head. Talking about not getting close to the opposite gender. We knew each other back when we were still wearing split pants. Don't give me that nonsense. Shangguan Shi, being a girl, didn't have the strength to match Wu Chenjun. Wrapped tightly in his hold, she couldn't move an inch. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1009. Poor eyesight _2. Wu Chenjun, let go of me. You're practically choking me to death. Wu Chenjun held tightly onto her neck, a faint fragrance lingering around his nose. If he paid attention, had noticed it was the scent of roses. Will you stop saying men and women shouldn't get too close now? I won't say it anymore, I promise I'll never say it again. Swear it. Wu Chenjun persisted. All right, I swear. Shangguan she held up 3 fingers. Only then did Wu Chenjun let her go. Fine, young master will forgive you this once. You're so annoying. Shangguan she rolled her eyes at Wu Chenjun. You've messed up my hair. Wu Chenjun walked up to Shangguan Shi and stopped, leaning in to straighten her hair. If it's messed up, just fix it, right? Shangguan Zai's eyes darted around, and seizing the opportunity, she stamped hard on Wu Chenjun's foot, and then swiftly ran towards the workplace. Wu Chenjun watched her retreating back, whistling with a somewhat spoilt young master's air. Just then, Zuoling ran over from the other side and seeing Shangguan Zai's back, called out with a laugh, Xiaoxi, wait for me. Hearing Zuoling's voice, Shangguan Shi waved with a smile. Zuoling, this way. Zuoling? Is this Shangguan Zai's boyfriend? Wu Chenjun narrowed his eyes, his left hand in his pocket, somewhat baffled why Shangguan Shi had taken a liking to such a guy. Poor eyesight? It seemed Shangguan Shi might need a pair of glasses. Wu Chenjun, slightly irritated, took out a pack of cigarettes from his pocket. At that moment, Zuoling glanced back at Wu Chenjun. Xiaoxi, you know that comrade? Shangguan Shi looked back at Wu Chenjun and nodded. He's a friend who grew up with me. Zuoling expressed his surprise. I saw him driving a car. If Shangguan Zai's friend was this wealthy, did it mean Shangguan Zai's family was also wealthy? Was everything he had seen at Shangguan Zai's house last time real? Shangguan Shi smiled and said, he won the jackpot in the lottery before, and now he's already living in a villa. Really? Can you actually win the lottery? In the 80s, lotteries had just started, and most people didn't believe you could actually win. It's true. Shangguan Shi nodded her head. Besides winning the lottery, she had no better reason. How much did he win? Zuoling continued to ask. It must be quite a lot, Shangguan Shi said. He's living in a villa, at any rate he's certainly richer than us. Making money from buying lottery tickets, his luck is too good. Zuoling looked enviously at Wu Chenjun as he drove away. When could he also live in a villa and drive a car? Based on his current salary, that seemed a bit difficult. A life is so unfair. Some people work hard and still have no car or villa, while others do nothing and drive off in cars, maybe after work. He should also buy a lottery ticket? Let's not talk about this, we should hurry inside. Oh, did you have breakfast? Zuoling, his mind on the lottery, didn't even hear Shangguan Zai's words and responded absently. Got it. What do you mean got it? Shangguan Shi said exasperatedly. I'm asking if you had breakfast? If not, shall I accompany you to the canteen? Oh, Zuoling finally caught on. I've eaten. I'm heading back to the office. In fact, Zuoling hadn't had breakfast at all. Now with thoughts of buying a lottery ticket, how could he even think of eating? Shangguan Shi also headed in the direction of the workshop. School had a test today, so Enayang took a trip there, and incidentally brought Bing Jiufu for Zhang Qiuying. Thank you so much, Yang. Zhang Qiuying took out some money and handed it to Enayang. And Yang smiled as she handed the 10 yuan back to Zhang Qiuying. We're all classmates. Let's just call it an even number. One set of Bingji Yufu cost 210 yuan, but Yang only charged 200 yuan. Zhang Qiuying refused. Oh, no need, you bought this with money. You can't be at a loss. It's okay, I'm very familiar with the owner of Bingji Yufu. What's 10 yuan less? Then he'll not stand on ceremony. Seeing that Yang wasn't just being polite, Zhang Qiuying accepted the 10 yuan. Presently, Li Huilan excitedly ran in from outside. It's snowing. It's snowing outside. Really? Yang looked back in surprise. Really, Li Huilan said. I just came back from outside. It's snowing heavily. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1010. Poor Vision _3. I'm going to check out the corridor outside. Yang said as she arrived at the hallway, and outside it really was snowing. The big flaky snow and willow catkin-like snowflakes were floating down from mid-air, piling a thin white layer on the ground. The snowy weather always seemed to put everyone in a wonderful mood. Yang turned to look back at the dormitory. Huilan Qiuying, let's go out for hot pot tonight? I'll treat. Sure. Zhang Qiuying raised both hands in agreement. Li Huilan also expressed her approval. After the evening test, Yang took her 2 roommates out for hot pot. As the 3 of them stepped out of the school gate, they saw a black sedan parked outside. In those times, when sedans were not as common as in the future, they stood out significantly. Just then, the car door opened, and a tall man emerged, unfolding an umbrella as he stepped out. With one hand holding the umbrella and the other in his pocket, his thin lips pressed tightly together, his chiseled face bore no particular expression. He seemed to embody the snow and wind, and the aura of aloofness and prestige emanated from his every move. Against his backdrop, the snowy scenery and people behind him became lifeless props. Li Huilan and Zhang Qiuying were both stunned. He was incredibly handsome. Brother Mo. Yang's eyes lit up at the sight of the newcomer. Yang. Mo Qishan strode toward her. Seeing this, Li Huilan and Zhang Qiuying exchanged glances, both seeing the confusion in each other's eyes. Aren't you cold? Mo Qishan casually pulled Yang's hand into the pocket of his trench coat. Not cold. Yang shook her head. Oh, let me introduce you, Brother Mo. These are my roommates, Zhang Qiuying and Li Huilan. With that said, Yang continued, Huilan Qiuying, this is my boyfriend Mo Qishan. So he's her boyfriend. No wonder he's so handsome. And they're such a perfect match. Hello, I'm Zhang Qiuying. I am Li Huilan. Mo Qishan nodded slightly. Hello, I appreciate how you've taken care of Yang these past days. At this, Zhang Qiuying and Li Huilan felt a bit embarrassed. It wasn't that they took care of Yang, but rather she took care of them. Yang's boyfriend sure knew how to speak well. After a moment, Mo Qishan looked at Yang. Where were you all heading? Let me give you a lift. We were thinking of going out for hot pot. Yang nodded. Get in the car then. Mo Qishan turned and opened the door. Yang sat in the passenger seat while Li Huilan and Zhang Qiuying took the rear. What do you think about Yang's boyfriend? Zhang Qiuying nudged Li Huilan's arm and asked in a low voice. I think he's really good, Li Huilan replied. Zhang Qiuying nodded. I think he's really good too. Ah. I didn't expect Yang to have a boyfriend. It makes me want to start dating too. But the boys in our school, not one catches my eye. Zhang Qiuying preferred someone more mature, handsome, and charming. Li Huilan continued. Yang's boyfriend must be rich, right? Their family couldn't even afford a bicycle, and here Mo Qishan had a car. It was incomparable. Do you know how much this car costs? Zhang Qiuying asked. Li Huilan thought for a moment. Maybe 10 or 20,000 yuan? Zhang Qiuying laughed. 10 or 20,000 yuan. That would only get you a wheel. My dad also wanted to buy this car, but it was too expensive, so he gave up and bought a car for 30,000 yuan instead. So how much does this car cost? 80 or 90,000 yuan. What kind of amount was 80 or 90,000 yuan? Based on current wages, You couldn't save that amount even if you didn't spend a cent for 70 or 80 years. 80 or 90,000 yuan would get you 4 wheels, said Zhang Qiuying. What? Li Huilan's mouth fell open, clearly hampered by her poverty. Zhang Qiuying went on. This car is imported from Y country and it costs 270,000 yuan after taxes. 270,000 yuan. Li Huilan's face was full of shock, and her look towards Anai Yang and Mo Qishan changed completely. Zhang Qiuying thought her family was well off. After all, they owned a sedan. But in front of Mo Qishan, their wealth was insignificant, not even worth mentioning compared to his. Beijing truly was Beijing City, rightly the imperial city of old. So what do you think he does? Li Huilan asked curiously. Zhang Qiuying replied, judging by his accent, he must be a local from Beijing. As for what he does, I'm not sure, but one thing is clear. What? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 10-11. Poor Vision _4. Definitely an office worker. You can tell by the way he dresses. Li Huilan nodded. I think you're absolutely right. Qiuying continued. When I first came to Beijing for school, my mom told me it's best to find a boyfriend from Beijing, because they are well off. Huilan, if you're looking for a boyfriend, you definitely have to find someone from Beijing. Upon hearing this, Li Huilan bashfully lowered her head. I already have someone I like. Who? Qiuying curiously asked. Someone from our school? Li Huilan shook her head. No, he's from the university next door in Beijing. Oh, Qiuying nodded. Have you confessed your feelings to him yet? Li Huilan blushed. Oh my, let's not talk about that. The car was fast, and they soon arrived at the Hot Pot restaurant. The Hot Pot restaurant was located in the bustling city center, and as it happened to be a snowy day, the place was very lively. The shopkeeper knew Mo Qishan and greeted him enthusiastically. Mr. Mo, you're here. Please come this way. The shopkeeper led them to a private room on the 3rd floor. The private room was elegantly decorated. After they were seated, Anai Yen handed the menu to Li Huilan and Zhang Qiuying. Huilan, Qiuying, my boyfriend is treating today, so don't be polite with him. Qiuying smiled. Since it's my brother-in-law treating, we won't hold back then. Qiuying, a year older than Anai Yen and Li Huilan, also older due to starting school late. Don't be polite with him. Anai Yen joked. Try to eat him out of bankruptcy. Though they were told not to be polite, Qiuying and Li Huilan still ordered conservatively, mainly avoiding the expensive items. They were not the type to lack manners. After they ordered, Anai Yen took the menu and added several meat dishes, and also ordered drinks. Initially, because Mo Qishan was there, Qiuying and Li Huilan were somewhat reserved, but as they ate, they loosened up. On a cold day, having a bite of hot and oily spicy beef that makes your nose sweat, followed by a sip of pear soda. The feeling was incredibly refreshing. After finishing the hot pot, Mo Qishan escorted them back to their dormitory. Qiuying let out a hearty burp without worrying about her image. Thank you so much for the generous treat, brother-in-law. You're welcome. In front of others, Mo Qishan always spoke sparingly. Yang, we'll head back first then, Qiuying said as she pulled Li Huilan towards the dormitory. Anai Yen was not staying in the dormitory that night, so she got into the car with Mo Qishan. Yang, do you have an exam tomorrow? Yeah, Anai Yen nodded as she fastened her seatbelt. Then I will pick you up tomorrow morning, Mo Qishan said. Tomorrow? Anai Yang asked in surprise. Aren't you supposed to go to Sea City tomorrow? I will drop you off at school before I go. All right then, thanks for the trouble, Mr. Mo. I'm going to all this trouble, shouldn't you reward me, wife? Mo Qishan turned and looked at Anai Yang. He had been restraining himself because Qiuying and Li Huilan were there. A man's small requests sometimes need to be satisfied. Anai Yang leaned over and kissed Mo Qishan on the cheek. His cheek was as cold as the falling snow outside, cold as ice. Just then, Mo Qishan suddenly turned around, their lips met, and a wrist with a watch firmly held the back of her head. Look at the road. The sound of the brakes echoed, and the black car stopped at the side of the road. Fortunately, it kept snowing, and the road wasn't icy, Otherwise, Emo would have definitely turned the car over. After a while, the car started up again. Anayin straightened her messy hair and looked back at Emo-chishin. You are not allowed to do that again. Do you know how dangerous that was? What am I not allowed to do? Emo-chishin raised an eyebrow slightly. What do you think? Playing dumb, Emo-chishin said. How would I know, wife? Why don't you demonstrate it again to help jog my memory? Anayang stretched out a hand and firmly twisted Emo-chishin's ear. She did not hold back at all, causing Emo-chishin's ear to turn red instantly. Ancestor, I was wrong. Are you going to be cheeky again? Anayin raised an eyebrow. No more. Really? More real than real gold. Then I'll let it slide this time. Anayin withdrew her hand, satisfied. On the way back, the car was driven slowly. What was normally a 30-minute drive to Jinghua village took Emo-chishin an entire hour, and they still hadn't arrived. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.